One, two, one, two. What's up, people? Hotep Jesus. We back. I was going to say with another uncomfortable conversation, but I did some research this week as demand for this podcast, the stream, has extremely risen. And people said, oh, are you on Apple? Are you on Spotify? And I was only on SoundCloud. So I spent some time this week moving the cast to Apple, moving the cast to Spotify. And I typed in uncomfortable conversations as a search. See if anybody was using that name. And my dumbass thought I was being original. There's like a million of them with that name. So I said, oh, we're going to have to not use that name. So I brought this to the attention of my Twitter followers, all 150,000 of them, 150,000 plus. And they came up with some great suggestions. Initially, I came out with something very corny and bland, like the Hotep Jesus show. And people said, it kind of sounds narcissistic. And I was like, I do agree. It's just like, it's not about me. This is definitely a show about my guests and the conversations that we have. And somebody said sharp conversation because my last name is Sharp. My name Brian Sharp, but my last name has an E on it. So it's Sharp with an E, conversations. And a lovely young black lady added on sharp conversations with Hotep Jesus, which is great because we don't lose the branding of the Hotep Jesus part. So you can now find this podcast on Apple and Spotify under the name Sharp Conversations with an E with Hotep Jesus. Please do me a favor and subscribe and leave a review on your preferred streaming platform. And that'll be really helpful. It'll bump the algo and get this Hotep message out there. As you already know, I am a 4-time tech startup co-founder of another AI company I'm working with. But the main companies are right here at the bottom of the screen. Wazo AI. We deal in camera vision analytics. Lots of great things happening there. People counting, path tracking, optimizing the retail space. When that stuff starts to open up more, it's going to be great. CoinBitSapp.com. We've been in business for several years now. And we offer the purchase of Bitcoin for only $1. $1 per transaction. We made some back-end changes recently to make the experience better. Let's go ahead and get involved in Bitcoin, the safest and smartest way out there, CoinBitSapp.com. And lastly, shout out to my partner, Simone, the creator of Gifitize, the grifter's favorite app. Allows you to download GIFs and videos from the Twitter platform to your iOS phone. Wonderful, wonderful platform. Let me shout out my other co-founders, Riley, Danny, Sam over at Wazo AI, Youssef and Maher over at CoinBitSapp. Very important that I plug my partners because they've created some great technology assets. And me coming in as an operations and consulting and marketing arm of these companies. That's my role, marketing and advertising and operations and growing these companies. Shout out to Jazzy. Jazzy is the first investor in Wazo. Well, I shouldn't say first investor. I should say first large investor. He has promised us $100,000 invested in our artificial intelligence company. So shout out to Jazzy. If you guys want to invest, contact me. All you gotta do is go to briansharp.co. That link is in the description box below, as well as all the companies are in the description box below. Sign up to my email list. An automated response will come to your email address, and then you'll have my email address. And then we can stay in contact. And if you wish to invest and become a billionaire, multi-millionaire one day, you can do that by investing in the HOTEPS. If you have a tech company, you're looking for a co-founder, you're looking for somebody to help you with the marketing, I am your guy. Not only do I have the knowledge, but I also have the reach. I have the followers, 150,000 on Twitter, 13,000 or something like that on Instagram, and 40,000 plus here on YouTube. So I come with quite the package for your startup. Enough of that stuff. A very interesting guest today. I'd like to introduce to y'all Moe Factz.
Hey. How you doing, Hotep?
I'm doing marvelous, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Chat, do me a favor. Hit 1 in the box if my audio sounds better than it's ever been tonight, because I believe I fixed the audio issues. Hit 1 in the box if the audio sounds nice and crispy tonight. They're saying ITM in the chat. What are they talking about, Mo?
That's a carryover from my partner's podcast, No Agenda, and it stands for In the Morning. I think he referenced that when he was on the show. So
in
we have a good mix. Yes.
In the morning?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a Hotep for them. You know,
Okay. Dope.
It's a greeting, type of greeting.
I like it. Let me read some super chats real fast and we'll just jump right into this thing. Sir Brother Hotep, $24.99. He said, been waiting on this show since the first episode of Moe Factz with Adam Curry. Thank you both for bringing sanity and value to my life. Baroka, $9.99 super chat. Said, thank you. No, thank you. Hotep with it, $4.99 super chat. He said, let's go, fam. Check out Sharp Conversations with Hotep Jesus. Making moves to the major platforms. Hotep and Bill, stay with it. Oh, yeah. Make sure y'all subscribe to the homie Stay With His platform. He's got his podcast up. No, there's no video. We'll talk about why there's no video in just a second. Sir Brother Hotep, $4.99 super chat. Said, sounding good. Nice and crispy, Hotep Jesus. Thank you. Aztec Mega, he said, tuned in all the way for this one. HJ, busted my chops yesterday, but we here, Hotep and Bill. Aztec Mega, my God, appreciate you. Mo, people are asking why they don't see your face.
All right, for several reasons. One being, I have to live in this world, but two, I don't consider myself a leader. I don't consider putting my face out there on the front. I want people to listen to what I have to say. So that's a couple of different reasons. And I brought this up on our show. I never had a desire to be a celebrity. I used to do music way back. I mean, not too far back, but even then I was uncomfortable with the idea of celebrity. So I enjoy my personal life as long as it can last. I'll say that.
I dig it. Let's hop right into this thing. I texted Adam Curry earlier today. I was listening to episode 50 of the No Agenda podcast.
No.
What?
Moe Factz with Adam Curry.
I apologize. The Moe Factz
no problem.
with Adam Curry.
No problem. Yeah.
And I said, I listened to episode 50 and I'm coming at your neck tonight. That's what I said.
Please.
To Adam Curry. And this is on the topic of reparation. Now, Adam was referring to my comment where I said if Black people were given a check for reparations, they'd run out and spend it on Gucci, to which Adam Curry said, that was a stupid comment by Hotep Jesus. And I just first like to say, fuck you, Adam, respectfully. And let me just first say this. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with Adam? Or is there something in the middle or outside of the group?
Let me tell you why I stand on that statement.
Okay.
Will some people go out and buy Gucci? Of course. Did we not see this when Katrina happened and they got their payment checks? We saw people going out buying Gucci bags and Louis bags and things of that nature. Yes. But to say that is going to be the larger portion of society, I think that's my word wouldn't be stupid. My word would be that's a very generalized statement, because I think brothers like me and you would take that money and put it to good use. I think there's some people that would fund their children's education. So I think I think what we do in general, I don't want to go too far on a tangent, but I think what we do is we let the loudest portion of our group, or this amalgamation called Black, be representative of the overarching group. And I think that's a huge miscalculation, because I think for everyone that will probably go buy Gucci, two will either sit on it or get themselves out of debt or invest in a business. That's why I would say it would be an overgeneralized statement, almost leaning toward a trope or a meme. So let me
ask you this: if you see a rattlesnake,
mm-hmm.
do you say, "Oh, rattlesnakes aren't a monolith. This one might not bite me," or do you say, "It's a rattlesnake. I should probably beware"? I'm sure you would say you'd beware, right?
Well, no. Well, what you're trying to what I assume your statement is implying that we're all rattlesnakes. Now, we all might be in the snake family, but say, for instance, if I see a king snake, I will let it live because it'll take care of that rattlesnake on my property.
Well, you can see the difference between these snakes. You can't see the difference between black people. You have to see on the inside of them.
No. I think we can clearly see now, and that's the thing. At this moment in time, I think you're seeing a pulling away or a separation of this creation of Black. You see people like us that don't want to prescribe to the victimization mentality, don't want to subscribe to the waiting on somebody to do it for us. And then you see the people that want to be what Black was created to be, and that is to be the bottom. They want to be the buffoons and the lazy and all the things. And I'm not saying anything negative against these people, because they are a product of this system that made them the bottom. It's just that brothers like me and you have been able to step back and see how the matrix is working and allow to navigate. You know what I mean? You could put two people in a boat. If one knows how to navigate,
have you ever seen a black man that didn't own a pair of Nikes?
Yeah, my pops.
One.
No, I'm saying his generation. His generation. That's. I think what we're seeing. I think what we're doing.
Is he a minority? Is he a minority in that group? Can we say that? Can we say that Nike has a monopoly on the branding of the Black community? Is that safe to say? A monopoly on the branding of the Black community?
No, Michael Jordan has a monopoly.
Nike doesn't.
No. Because if Michael Jordan would have put Adidas on, or if Michael Jordan would have put Reebok on, and that's the thing.
But he didn't. He chose Nike.
But what I'm saying is that proximity to him. I mean, you have Prefontaine who's wearing Nikes and running around the world. I mean, nobody went and got a pair.
Mo Factz, you're being disingenuous right now.
I'm not.
You know for a fact that that Nike has a monopoly on the Black community. Let's be honest.
That's not, because if you look now, like my kids and a lot of their friends, they're in Vans and Uggs. And because they're introduced to new ideas. And that's what I'm saying. You're saying what is. I'm looking at what can be. And people like you and I are heard out, not spoken down and not sabotaged by the liberal media.
Are you familiar with what a black mall is?
Yes.
What would you call a black mall?
Foot Locker, a Jersey store, Chinese spot, maybe two Chinese spots to sell the orange chicken and the grilled chicken with the rice and the noodles.
So you are familiar. You are familiar. You are familiar that when we go to a mall near a Black community, a predominantly Black community, there's going to be 20 sneaker stores in that mall. But when you go to the white mall, you might find one or two. Is that not true?
This is true, but in that white community, you'll find a Dick's that's full of Nikes too. All I'm trying to say is this. I'm not.
You find one Dick's. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure, Dick's carries Nike. But when we go to the Black mall, we're going to find 10 sneaker stores.
Correct.
Okay. Why is that?
Why is that? Because
niggas love sneakers.
You know why? But why? Let's see. This is what I like to do.
I mean,
I
we
like
can
to take
deal
a
with the
narrative.
why, but I just
No,
want to
no.
deal with the what is first. We can talk about the why. I want to deal with the what is first. So we have established for a fact that niggas love sneakers. Can we agree on that?
Who is niggas though?
ADOS, black people, whatever term you want to call these people, melanated people, whatever term you like. Is it not true that they love sneakers?
But why? I'm not disagreeing with you that
okay,
they do.
So you agree. So you agree that they do.
They do.
Okay, thank you.
Just like people love cars, but when you can't afford a car, your shoes is your status. If you live in a neighborhood where you can't even park a car in New York City, see, we got to understand these trends came out of urban centers. And in urban centers, you couldn't have a car or you could frequent public transportation. So as we seen in the dude doing the right thing, his sneakers was his, it was his car. So you want to have a fresh pair. The thing is, I had that mindset too. See, I'm not one of those people that, I never, like, you know how those people are preachers and they act like they never sin? I'm not that person. I had that mind at once. I wouldn't wear a pair of shoes that had dirty laces. I wouldn't wear a pair of shoes that had a scuff on. Because when I stepped out, those shoes are representative of me. But that was because I fed into the narrative that I am trying to destroy not single-handedly.
So you were susceptible to that same narrative that traps majority of black people in America.
No, it traps majority of people in general.
We ain't talking about majority of people. We talking about black people.
No, but hold on. What we got to understand is we're under the same spell that's cast by advertisers and media companies, but it's just a different spell for different people.
Okay, so if it's affecting everyone, that includes black people, right?
Right. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to make sure we don't make this.
I mean, however you want to mix this stew, we can mix the stew.
Okay.
I just want to illustrate the fact that it does affect everyone, and everyone includes black people.
This system of white supremacy have a brand for everybody.
Right.
That's the thing. It's just Nike is our brand.
Okay.
Gucci is our brand.
Say it again. Gucci is our brand.
Yes.
Okay. So when that reparations check comes through,
right,
Gucci gonna get a large amount of that, ain't they?
They probably can't make it fast.
Okay.
But what I'm saying to you is, and this is the reason why I'm pushing back so hard on this is a very dangerous discussion even to have, because if I want to put my money in a pile and burn it up, that's nobody's business.
Correct.
It's not about what I'm going to do with it. We're talking about what is owed.
Yes.
That's why I said it's a very, like it's like you're getting a car wreck, right? Or you're hit by a car or a truck or whatever. And you made some very bad financial decisions. And then the lawyer goes and says, well, we don't need to pay him this money because he has bad credit. he's misused all his resources. And you want that could very well, if that was the case, then a lot of people would get paid.
Correct.
So that's why I say it's a very dangerous conversation to even have.
Do you remember the Dave Chappelle skit from the reparations?
Yeah, of course. Cadillac Escalades out of the cell, fried chicken, KFC couldn't keep chicken. Of course.
So I'm not too off base when I say that if black people got a reparations check, it would go to Gucci.
Okay.
Gucci being a euphemism for the status symbols you said black people are consuming.
Right. But why is that?
Adam Curry said the comment was stupid from Hotep.
Well, I'm showing that.
I told you before I was gonna address this and make you, defend your man's, right?
Correct.
But he said the comment was stupid. And to me, what it seemed to me was, how could a white man tell me anything about the black community?
Okay, I'm gonna speculate this here because you can't hear it with white man's ears either.
I like that.
So maybe he heard it as if other people of my ilk hear this, then they're like, oh no, we don't need to give it to them in the first place. So maybe
we don't need to what?
Give it to them in the first place. Unless you're gonna misuse it. So maybe he was speaking. I'm just speculating here. And me and him didn't even talk about this. And I knew when he said it, That's why I didn't even say anything about it
I noticed
on the
that.
show, because it's a non-starter, and you got to be familiar with the platform when I say this. Certain things you bring up is a non-starter. Even the word reparations is a non-starter.
Mm.
I'm really trying to rebrand it to atonement. But I'm just saying, I'm saying to this, when he said that, I was like, okay, you a man, he a man. Y'all can address it how y'all want to address it.
Right.
But to me, I didn't want to derail the conversation.
Sure.
With even going down that rabbit hole, because for me,
it was more. It was.
Person,
I feel that episode was very important. It was a wonderful episode. Wonderful episode. Wonderful conversation between you and Adam Curry. I love Adam Curry. I love what he puts out, things he says. When he puts the word stupid next to Hotep, and then his partner comes on my platform the same day, I had to address it publicly. Please don't put stupid next to my name, because I'm very careful with my words. I'm very careful with my thoughts, my ideas, my philosophy. Even Dr. Claude Anderson said, he said, 96 cents out of the black dollar is going to leave the black community. That means 4 cents is going to stay.
Okay, I'll take that 4 cents then.
All right. So 96 cents.
No sense.
96 cents out of that dollar is going to leave the black community. So if the reparations come in, it's going to go out. So let's. Okay. So you want to speak on that?
Yeah, I want to speak. Let me speak on that for a minute. First of all, 4 cents is better than no sense. Second of all, say for you, for instance, as a young entrepreneur, if you were able to come into that windfall of cash, it would change your life. It would change your life for your lineage. Now, I'm assuming that you're ADOS, or it was an American descendant of slave, or FBA, or Native Black. How you want to label that? I'm just making an assumption. I haven't looked into your background, that deep. But if you were to get that money, you would do right by it. And if we help 2 black people, that's worth it. That's worth.
Here's my thing about the reparations conversation.
Okay.
You brought up a very great point where you said that you and I would do responsible things with that money, right? So what I would say is, hold on, they're complaining about your volume. Let me go ahead and thank you for the heads up, y'all. Let me just make sure. I want to make sure most. I tried to do something fancy, but you brought up great. You said you and I would do responsible things with that money, right? And we are aware of the risk of what the rest of the so-called black population would do with the money, right? The potential to waste it. So what I'm saying is, if you and I are the responsible minds of the community, we have to be responsible with how we create the plan for reparations so that the people who are irresponsible do not squander the reparations. We want to secure it for all.
I'm not here for the plan of how we spend it. I'm here for the plan of how we secure the bag. See, we in 2 different wheelhouses here, and that's what 50 was about. 50 was laying out the case, and I have a very different views on reparations / atonement than a lot of people, because I like the model that Johnny Cochran was going after, and with the legal system. And see, that's why we're so short-minded and so short-sighted, that if we would have even done a just due to somebody, say like a Donald Trump, for instance, not saying him specific, he put in 200 federal judges, about to put 3 judges on the Supreme Court. You don't go to him and say, I want reparation. You say, I want you to pay reparation favorable judges. So when we go after this money in these courts, that's how you strategize. So I'm not here to tell people how they spend their money, because nobody should tell me how to spend my money.
Do you have children?
Yes, I have 4 beautiful children, 3 daughters and a son.
If your children got a bag, would you tell them how to spend it?
No.
Okay. Why not?
Because the parable of the prodigal son.
Okay.
What did he do? He gave his son his inheritance while he was living. That's what his son wanted to do. Now you go out to the city, you get bamboozled, you get tricked out of your money. Now, hopefully, what I've done from the time that they've been born to the time they become adults. This is why people have trust. I mean, let's just be honest, because you make foolish decisions with money at young.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, I can't say, hey, this is how you're going to spend your money. You go out, you learn how the world works off what I taught you. And when you go away from what I taught you and you find out the world is hard, that will only solidify the lessons that I taught you.
So you've taught them lessons on how to use this money.
Of course.
Oh, okay. Okay. So if they squander it after that, then that's on them.
That's on them.
I totally agree. But that first, there is a lesson that's instilled.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's why I say the work that's done in the home. See, I have a very unique point of view on a lot of things. I'm not for leadership outside the home. I'm for leadership inside the home.
Right.
I don't believe in all these rallies and all this gestures and things of that nature. You know, one person wrote in and asked me one time, what are you doing for community? I'm raising my kids. I'm being the father to my kids. Right. When I get done with that job, then I'll go to my nieces and my nephews, then my distant cousins. And you know,
I like
sooner or later, I'm going to run out of time.
Right.
And if everybody did that internally, then we will have a functioning society.
Right.
But what we've done is we bought into the notion of black. Black is a brand. Black is a brand created by white supremacy. And say, okay, you buy into this. And this is why this whole bubbling up to the surface of ADOS and Foundation of Black and Native Black and these groups are saying we're our own group with our own specific grievances. And this is what, and I know you have an issue with, you know what I'm saying, the S and or the
we're gonna get into ADOS.
Yeah,
I just want to talk reparations real fast.
Right. Yeah. But it goes hand in hand.
How much time do I got with you tonight?
Man, you guys long as you want.
My man.
I cleared my schedule. So,
my man.
No Smash Brothers tonight. But no, but what I'm saying is that you have this thing called Black that was created, and it was really just the bottom. So what we have to do is we have to break that narrative. And that's what you're saying about Nike and Gucci. These things are part of our culture.
Yes.
What we need to do is return back to our original culture. Because this mind we have now couldn't survive the 400 years, 600 years, 300 years, how many ever years of slavery you want to say we went through. This mind of the people right now wouldn't have survived that. So we didn't have that mind. This is a modern creation, this mind that we have. When I say we, of what we're perceived to have. And deep down inside, even those people that buy those Gucci know better, but it's like, I want to be loved. When you want to be loved, you do a lot of things for love.
Yes.
And that's all it really is that's why we're the only people can be extricated from our communities, such as, you know, you're not Black anymore. Give me your Black card. That's our biggest fear, right? Oh, I'm gonna lose my Black card, I'm gonna be a coon. You know, this kind of thing. But when you start to realize, hey, you know what? This Black thing is not who I am.
Let me ask you.
I said this thing. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a this or that question, and I just want a one-word answer. Black community as a whole, is it majority financially smart, or majority, or is being financially smart the minority in the Black community?
It's the minority. Okay,
it's a minority. So what we're dealing with is a bunch of people who don't know how to handle money, right? So me being the benevolent virtual dictator that I am, I'm looking at the Black community and I'm saying, if we secure this bag and it goes to my children, this Black community, I'm going to call it my children. I'm saying children because they're not responsible with money.
Right.
Wouldn't it behoove me to put together a reparations plan that they could not squander if I care about this community of people, this nation of people?
So reparations can be a lot of different things. And what I mean by that is it has to be monetary for first of all. So let's be clear on that.
It said what?
It has to be monetary.
It has to be monetary?
It has to be. What I mean by that is
I totally disagree.
Hold on, let me clarify what I'm saying.
Okay.
Is that if that's more money in my paycheck because I'm not taxed, that's one way. That's a monetary, I'm saying that's a monetary way.
I agree with that.
If it's a straight up check. But what I'm saying is it has to What happened is here they started a race. Hint that they call it race, and our doors didn't open. It's like a horse race, right? Our doors did us to us all didn't open for how many ever let's say 200 years, because we're talking about American slavery here. Let's not. That's the other thing. We can't go out too far in colonialism and all. I'm talking about 1776 on forward. That's the birth of this nation.
Mm-hmm.
Our doors wasn't open.
Mm-hmm.
All the horses get halfway around the track, then you want to open our doors. Now you're gonna say, oh well, you have the equal opportunity to run the track as everybody else. Hold on, I got a late start. My doors isn't open, so either you need to stop all the other horses from running or catch me up with the horses. And then once you make me, you know what I'm saying, in some kind of parity, now we can see who wins the race. That's the problem.
So, going back to my question, wouldn't it make sense that us, leaders in the Black community, if we were in charge of the reparations legal case, that we should look out for the interests of those that have poor financial, or do you think we should not look out for them and we should look out for ourselves?
When you say look out for them, are you saying we should dictate to how they spend their money?
What I'm saying is,
or should we ration it to them? And I'm not asking a question.
What I'm saying is, we should structure the reparations legal case in such a way that when they do get the bag, they can't fumble it.
It's going to be winners and losers. That's what America's all about.
Well, what I'm saying is, when you're dealing with a great mind,
right?
A great mind is able to mitigate risks. There is a risk that the bag will be fumbled. Now, if we know that the bag will be fumbled, we can at the very least set it up so that if they do get the bag, it won't be fumbled. That is the challenge. You don't think that's possible?
No, what I'm saying, one of the things I'm for is tax-free status. That way is
for who?
For whoever the lineage proves that they are a descendant of American slavery.
Okay.
Once they get tax-free status, if you want to work for $7 an hour, your reparations be smaller than a person like you who will start a $1 million company.
Well, how do you build generational wealth in America? It certainly isn't through W-2 being a wage employee, right?
No, well, it has to start somewhere. It starts with inheritance, to be honest with you. And a lot of our people never had an inheritance. So they never had that leg up to say, hey.
You know that the majority of billionaires and millionaires in America are millionaires and billionaires because they worked for it and not through inheritance?
No, what I'm saying, hold on. What I'm saying is this. You said, you asked one question.
Well, let me just ask the question one more time. Can I ask the question one more time?
Yeah. Yes.
How do you build multi-generational wealth? So much wealth that your kids can't mess it up. How do you do that? You can't do it through W-2 wage employeeism.
You can start the ball to roll with it. And what I'm saying is this, because if you do that, then you can't say, so I think we have two different.
Well, let me answer the question for you. Can I answer the question for you?
Yeah, yes, please.
It's through entrepreneurship.
Everybody can't be entrepreneurs.
Facts. That is correct. But it's through entrepreneurship that you build multi-generational wealth.
Correct.
Okay.
But I'm not seeking to build multi-generational wealth for everybody. I am building where people can sustain and flourish generation to generation and be functional. That's why I said our outlook is two different. You're trying to build the 1%, right? I'm trying to represent the other 99%, and maybe not even.
Well, who makes the decisions? Who makes the decisions for the country? Isn't it the 1%?
No.
The 1% don't make decisions for America?
Not at all. And that's the biggest fallacy that
Okay,
actually came
correct.
up with.
All right, so who makes the decisions for
Because
America?
they see what the people are willing to go for. Now we're going to get into rulership and what kind of rulership we're under. People
Okay.
think we're under capitalist or socialist or communist or fascist. We're really under a Fabian socialist system. And what they do is say, we'll push the people as far as they go. And when the people resist, we'll relent, and then we'll start to push again. So they only push us as far as we'll go. It's like everybody said, woke up today saying, no, you know what? I'm going out. I'm not wearing a mask. How long would it be before everybody wouldn't wear a mask? You see what I'm saying? Like it's the people really define the system. It's not the 1%. That's the
I mean, you're talking about a
it's,
hypothetical situation when today it's the masses who are telling you to put on a mask, and that's reality. That's not virtual, like the situation you're bringing.
Right, because we want to be like it's our need to be like the 1% that controls us, not the actual 1%. Everybody has this dream of, oh, my child's going to be Elon Musk or my child's going to be Mark Zuckerberg. No, that's not in the card. Oh, my child's going to be Steph Curry or LeBron James. No. What you need to do is raise them to know how to function in this world. Now, if that so happens that my son is 6'9" and 250 pounds and can run, you know what I'm saying, a 4.40, so be it. But if he can't, you know what? I want him to be able to have a nice middle class life, no less than a nice middle class life, where he can own some property, go to Disney World once a year. Him and his wife going to Jamaica maybe once a year, and he'll have a nice, nice inheritance for his children when they die, when he dies, God forbid. But I mean, we all go through it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not looking for everybody to be super duper uber billionaires.
Oh, I am.
I'm trying. But see, for you to be that, we have to do the work over here of building that community that will support you.
Wait, what community do you support?
The people that will buy your product, the consumers. You need consumers to buy whatever product you're selling.
No, I mean, yeah, but that's kind of irrelevant, you know. So let's just circle back real fast.
Okay.
On the reparations conversation, I am not interested in an income tax exemption. That's for the hoi polloi. Now, if you hold on, let me just finish. Now, if you'd like to include that in the reparations, I'm not going to oppose it. What I believe is the first order of action is tax exemption for small black business is the first order of action you need.
I think you misheard me.
Okay.
I said tax-free status. I'm talking about the taxes in your cell phone bill. I'm talking about the taxes that when you go to the steakhouse. Tax-free status. Now, if you want to go, you know what I'm saying, and have capital gains tax,
I could just move to Delaware and do that.
No, but what I'm saying is this. If you're talking about reparations, now we're not going to say, oh, it's just going to be for,
It feels very short-term thinking, right? When we look at how China moves and how a lot of the elites move, they think 300, 500 years ahead, right? And it seems to me you're thinking like, a year ahead, right? Like, oh, my steak tax, the tax on my steak, the tax on my clothes, the tax on my car. I don't give a shit about none of those taxes. The taxes I care about are the small business taxes because black people have a problem saying, oh, I can't get employment because the white man won't hire me. Well, we need more black business. The problem with black businesses is the taxes are holding many of us back. I know because I myself pay way too much in taxes. Therefore, it stops me from hiring more black people. So when I think about reparations, the first people I want to empower is the entrepreneur class of black people because they're the ones that are going to lift the rest of the blacks up.
Whoa, you sounding like W.E. Du Bois here. I think we're getting to the root. I think we're getting to the root of our misalignment here.
Okay.
I'm more to the Booker T. Washington mindset, and what I'm saying, why I say that is you have to build a strong
I'm with
foundation.
Booker T. Washington too. I don't fuck with W.E.B. Du Bois.
No, what I'm saying, but that's what his argument was. We had to create this talented 10th, and they'll pull the other 90% up, with it. What I'm saying is, and people want to poo-poo the working class. I'm not saying you, but if a person wants to be a worker, so be it.
Yes, but do
And
they
if
get a job from a white man or a black man?
well, if you're going to be creating jobs with your tax-free exempt, you're saying status, hopefully you will hire some of them.
Correct.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to build the stratification of the community.
We got Tanisha. So we got Tanisha. Tanisha does hair. Tanisha has a salon. Tanisha wants to hire more hairstylists, but Tanisha's got this tax burden. I need to lift that tax burden off of Tanisha so Tanisha can hire more black stylists. So Tanisha can open up another hair salon. So Tyrone can open up another barbershop. We have to free the black entrepreneur. If you can't free the black, see, America was built for entrepreneurship. It's supposed to be an alleged capitalist nation. So you have to free the entrepreneur. No?
Why can't we free everybody? So you're saying either or. I don't think in this term.
I'm not thinking either or. I'm talking about I'm prioritizing. It's not, okay. I'm prioritizing. I'm not saying forget everybody else. I'm saying what is the priority? I'm saying the priority is to free the entrepreneur first. No?
If you're gonna put a gun in my head and say who needs to get freed first, it's the working class. The working class.
The people who mismanage the money. The people who mismanage the money.
You're making this. I'm a part of the
working class. We agreed on that earlier. We said that the working class.
No.
Is not.
A lot of those people are not. They're workless. A lot of those people with the Gucci mindset do not work.
They don't work.
Yes, at all. That's why we have that.
I know a lot of black people in the hood, and the black people I know in the hood work, bro.
You know what I'm saying is that, of course, there's people that have that mindset that do work, but the people that go to work every day, there's a large portion of people that go to work every day. They pay their taxes, their state taxes, property taxes, all these things. And if you lift that burden off of them, maybe they can put that money back into their property, and their property value goes up, which they'll leave a bigger piece of the pie for their children down the line. And then their children will step into that tax-free status. It's like, oh, well, dad gave us a leg up in the world. I think that's what frustrates us more as a people than anything else.
So how would you structure reparations? What if you were to?
That's not my job. I would leave that to the experts. There's great people who's doing. That's not my job. My job is to make a case for the bag to be delivered, and to be secured. Now, once it's secured, or what that bag looks like, or what's in that bag, that's somebody else's wheelhouse. I don't try to step outside my wheelhouse here. So I have a very specific job.
I feel like your job's done though.
No, it's not. Far from it.
Why is it not?
Far from it. Because first of all, I want to rebrand it as atonement. Because you know why? You never asked me why I want to call it atonement instead. Ask me why I want to call it.
What do you want to call it?
I want to call it atonement instead of reparations because it's from the point of the people that need to do the atonement.
I really like that.
Not from the standpoint that you owe me something. You understand what I'm saying? And Mary Ann Williams touched on this. Everybody thought she was a crazy cat lady, but she was really onto something. She said it would do something for the spirit of this nation. For somebody you can drag them by their nose hairs and say you owe me and maybe go through court. But when somebody stands up and say, you know what, Hotel, I did hit you with my truck. Let me atone. Now we can have goodwill towards each other because you know what, I made up for and recompense for what damages I caused you. So that's why I'm trying to reshape. That's why reparations.
I really like that. I really like that. I really, really do like that.
I appreciate that, sir.
That's a wonderful idea. Atonement. Because motherfuckers need to atone for their sins. Yes.
Exactly. That's why I said the job is far from done. And that's just one narrative. And I don't want to make people think I'm just a one-trick pony about reparations. I'm with tearing down the media narrative 100%. This created this idea of blackness. Because when we went to black, it was in a good spirited effort. Because they were calling us Negro, nigger, these things. And the young people in the 70s said, you know what, we want to be black. We
Right.
want to dictate to what we're called.
Uh-huh.
But then the people on Madison Avenue say, you know what? Let's brand black. Let's make black exploitation films.
Okay.
Let's put a Coke straw in their nose and a needle in their arm and take the daddy out the house, and we'll shape what black is. And being dumb is black. And prioritizing things that depreciate in value over things that appreciate with value. That's black. So that's why I said that's what you're feeding into, is the brand of blackness. And once
how am I feeding into that?
Now, when you say about Gucci,
okay,
you're speaking about people that not their lineage, but this identity that's been given to them. It's like, here, that's like you wake up out of a coma, you have amnesia, and they're like, hey, you're Donald Trump. And you got to take all the burden with that come with Donald Trump. It's like, I'm not Donald Trump. Like, why do you keep calling me that? You know what I'm saying? Why do you keep, and then when you find out who you are, or you begin, because we're just on the cusp. As a people, to say, hey, no, that's not us. But like I said, I don't want to denigrate the people that started calling us black, because they were doing then what we're doing now, trying to define who we are. We're the only people that never get to define who we are. As soon as we start having black, it's like, oh no, you're African American. Then it's okay, African American now is people of color, which is not but color people. Let's just keep it 100. So that's why I'm saying, first of all, and I said even finding out who our lineage is tangible to us.
Okay.
That is once you can look down. I have pictures of my great grandfathers all around me right now, and I look in their eyes and their face, and I say, "Who are you? How did I get here from you? You know what I'm saying? Like, what turn did you make in life?" So,
can I ask you a question about reparations?
Yes.
What is the reparations for? What is the evil deed that was done that you're saying reparations or atonement is for? Is it slavery? Okay. Because and the reason why I'm asking this question is because I don't believe we should be asking for atonement for slavery. But you believe it's for slavery?
That's the only case we can prove.
That's the only one.
That's the only case we can prove. Now
we can't prove redlining.
Like Denzel says, not know what you know, but what you can prove.
We can't. Can we not prove redlining?
Of course we can.
Okay, that's not slavery.
No, but who was redlined?
What do you mean? Who was redlined?
Who was redlined?
Specifically?
Yes.
The black community.
And where did they come from? The South.
No, it happened in Detroit too.
No. What I'm saying is, those people came out of the South during the Great Migration for sharecropping.
Okay.
Which was another name for slavery.
Right.
That continued after, the Emancipation Proclamation, and us being free, so-called free for this country. So when you make recompense to just all based off of lineage back to slavery, you'll take care of the people at redline. You'll take care of the people that were affected by no man in the house. You'll take care, of all these other things. So that's what I'm saying. Let's make the case simple. You don't want, it's like when like a prosecutor gets all these charges and it's like, murder one's gonna be too hard to prove. Let's get them on this one. We'll still put them behind the years behind bars for 40 years. This is the easier case. This is a slam dunk case. Ain't that the verb you like to use? I'm trying to set up the slam dunk case here.
What about the other things, like the '94 crime bill, Reaganomics, Nixon's Rockefeller laws?
Yeah, war on drugs, all that.
All of that can be proven too, right?
But who were the main victims of all of those things that you listed?
Well, you propose.
What was their lineage? What was their lineage?
Well, you proposed that their lineage was slavery. But not all people affected by these systems were descendants of slaves.
So what's their excuse then?
Excuse for being done wronged?
What is their excuse?
Their excuse for being done wrong?
No, what I'm saying is, if you're going to say that their lineage is not of slavery,
yes, They might have been affected by the '94 crime bill. They might have been affected by
okay, so
the Rockefeller laws.
why were they in the slums then?
In the slum.
If you what I'm saying is that's where most of the drug arrests happened. Were in the so-called slums that were created by the FHA and the redlining.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my words.
I wouldn't call them slums, but okay.
No, that's what they were made to be. That was the design of it.
Right.
To say that black people were slum dwellers, and these are not my words. This goes Richard Rothstein.
Yeah.
He said that black people were made to appear to be slum dwellers.
Yes.
And the majority of those people were of the lineage of ADOS.
Mm.
So what I'm saying is if you didn't have the lineage of ADOS, you came to this country and you fell to the bottom, that was by your own choice.
Mm-hmm. Because
you weren't oppressed. Like you said, we now we're gonna go back to history and how people got here and who was already here, and you know what I'm saying. It's multiple different paths to this landmass.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is let's recompense, let's repair, let's atone what the people were done by one of the. And it's not even about the greatest sin ever. What I'm saying is, if it wasn't for cotton and sugar, this nation wouldn't be what it is. Let's just keep it a blood.
I disagree.
You disagree with what part?
If it wasn't for cotton and sugar.
Oh, that was two great windfalls. That's what the whole Civil War was fought on.
I would say
it was in 50.
I would say central banking was the bigger problem.
But what I'm saying is the windfall of free labor, natural resources, free real estate.
Mm-hmm.
When those three things, came about, and we became an export nation. It's just like I keep hating to bring him up, and I like to call him 45 Savage.
Mm-hmm.
It's like with 45 Savage, when he freed us of being dependent upon other nations' fuel. Then that was a great windfall when they started fracking. You see how that changed the whole global economy? Just right before our eyes. The same thing with cotton. When they created the cotton gin, they were like, you know what? Holy crap! All this useless fiber that we're sitting on now, we can get the seeds out of it.
Yeah.
Make everybody slaves. Make them all slaves. Free, not free, round them up. If you look a certain way, and that you should see the numbers how they grew in Mississippi. Like I said, I covered all this in 50. That's why it's fresh in my brain.
Yeah.
What I'm just saying is, if you repair those people, you're going to get a large swath, and that's why we have to do another reason. Let me get a sip of water here.
Yeah, absolutely. J Mart said $10 super chat. He said Dems must pay. Absolutely, Dems must pay. Adam Rezich, he said, these discussions are an important thing happening today. Thank you both. And Mo, let me just say, I'm being a hard ass on you today because...
Please do.
Because this conversation must be distilled. It must be challenged. And the nuances of it all must come out for the audience that hears it so that people get the best of this.
True. And you should challenge me just like I'm going to be cross-examined.
Yes.
So that's why I don't have any problem. You do these things before you go to court. Your own lawyer, you're saying...
before he gets you prepared, right?
Right, he preps you. You're saying trial prep. This is just trial prep, so I don't take any offense to it.
Yeah.
But what I was saying before, this is the reason why we had to destroy black. Because black means something totally different from what it meant in 1960.
Okay, explain that.
Oh, we got a lot of people this hiding under the umbrella of black that ain't really black.
Okay.
The way it was defined.
Like Sean King?
I'm not even going there. I mean, what I'm talking about is people that actually are melanated. But they come here and they use systems like affirmative action. They had no beef with this country.
You talking about immigrants?
Yes.
Okay. Like Kamala Harris?
Yes.
Interesting.
But then they want to speak on the behalf of ADOS, Foundation of Black and Native Black People. But you can't speak on my behalf because you don't understand it. You don't understand it. Obama didn't understand it. And that's why I hold Michelle more accountable, because she supposedly did. You understand what it means, what you were supposed to bring. His last 4 years, transgender bathrooms. No, bro, your every word should be reparations. Every answer to every question should have been reparations. Just to get the conversation started 4 years earlier than we are right now, and from that position. So what I'm saying is, a lot of people, they come here, and that's why black is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
You have people that say they are black, like a Trevor Noah. But
Mm.
he's not black like black is black.
Mm. The South
African,
the fair-skinned South African guy.
I'm not getting the colorism. What I'm saying is it's about lineage.
Yes. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Now, other groups of people are very protective about who gets in their lineage or not. It's a certain group out here are very protective of if you say you're from their lineage or not, and nobody has a problem with it. Actually, they're very protective.
Yeah.
But as soon as we want to be protected over our lineage, and it's not that we start and out something else. It's not. I guess we could segue into this or not. But I'm not ashamed of being a descendant of slavery.
Okay.
I'm not ashamed. My people made it through that. For me to be sitting here right now, you're saying that the son, the grandson, the great grandson, I know all those men. Bro, I take great pride in that. Because it's just like the movie Hurricane. I don't know if you saw it or not with Denzel Washington. He said, "Yeah, you can lock me up, but I won't wear prisoner clothes." You know what I'm saying? I won't be treated like a prisoner.
Yeah. So
yes, we were incarcerated by the activity of slavery. That doesn't make a slave or have slave mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing I just want to point out. I know I'm going all over the place.
No, I love it. So let's bring you right back. So we are not black. We are ADOS. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. How do you account for the lineage of black people who come from slave owners? What are they?
Good business people.
Are they they're not ADOS, they're black, like where do they fit in all this? They're just not ADOS? Or
so that's like asking the question between what's the difference between a Gentile and a Jew in the Bible. They were of the same people, right? Pretty much.
They were?
Pretty much. No, what I'm saying is when you look at the term that's just of this lineage or that lineage.
Well, Gentile is referring to somebody that's not of the Jewish faith.
Right, but what is that? And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But what I'm saying is this. If you're talking about lineage, it's not about race, it's not about phenotype, it's not about any of that. It's about the lineage.
Here's the problem I have. Like a lot of the black slave owners were purchasing family members, right? So this is the same lineage. So
no, it's not.
Okay.
No, that's that's
so I'm free. Mm-hmm. I have a plantation. I'm so-called black. Mm-hmm. I purchase my family, my extended family, to under law make them slaves that I own, but to free them from the white man. We are not of the same lineage, is what you're saying.
No.
Okay. Explain.
Because it says American descendants of slavery, of the system of slavery. That's what the lineage goes. Now, can we say, are we family? Of course we're family. Okay. They're just like the immigrants that come here from other nations. We're family, and we have a lot of allies. I mean, one of the biggest ones, I don't want to know if you want to mention other names in the show, though, but one of the brothers, TD Media, he's of Haitian descent, but he even realizes that we are owed something special from this country, and that's the key point. And the thing I want to say to the allies out there, not allies or immigrants, if we secure the bag, you think we're not going to give them the blueprint to go after the French and the British and whoever else?
Is the legal case against the United States government?
Yes.
I don't agree with that, bro.
Why not? They're the one that were complicit and allowed the system to happen.
Allowed it? I mean, that's
right, and thrived off of it, and the biggest beneficiaries of it.
But Barclays, for example, has admitted their role in slavery. That's a corporation that we can hold liable. AIG is another one. There's several multi-billion-dollar corporations that have already admitted to having fault in slavery, and we're going to the government and not these corporations who we can get legit money from. I don't understand how the
once again, it's a slam dunk case. You go after the government and you let them collect from you. It's not my responsibility who you collect from. Now, if they want to say, "Oh yeah, all these places was complicit," and they admitted to it, fine, go for that.
But the problem is, a lot of these corporations were international. So not only did they own slaves here, but they owned slaves in the Caribbean. They owned slaves. Same corporation would own slaves in the Caribbean and South America.
That's
and
why.
And then it's weird because you try to separate the people from the Caribbean, the people from South America, and us. Whereas I kind of group us all together.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Okay.
You can't. Reason why I say you can't do that, then you make it just the case so. Like I said, it's a slam dunk case. It's a slam dunk case that we go after the United States government because they were allowed these and supported the states in their union, upheld it. And now if they want to go after these companies that you named, that's on them. If you want to treat it like a RICO case, that's fine. But what I'm saying is keep the target very, very, very simple and very, very straightforward. That's just like people who say, "Oh," and on the flip side is, "I don't owe you anything." That's what they like to say, right? I just got here, 2 days ago. I don't owe you anything. You take that up with the IRS. You take that up with the IRS. I'm not saying you owe me. I'm saying the country owes me. Now taxes go up, so be it. Hell, I pay for a lot of things out of my taxes I don't agree with.
Well, it seems like you want to go for like the easy target, right?
Of course.
So you believe that the easy target is the United States government, whereas we have documented proof and admission of guilt from at least a dozen corporations, dozen multi-billion-dollar corporations that have admission to slavery. Now we have a United States government who has not done that, but we do have corporations. So it seems like the slam dunk is to carry those lawsuits against the corporation.
What about all these apologies state by state they made? Oh, we apologize for slavery. We recognize. Oh, you do recognize? Thank you.
Yeah, state by state. State by state.
Right, but what were they a part of?
So
what was those states part of?
So when you take the state to court.
No.
Okay.
No, what I'm saying is these states that made these apologies, Virginia, North Carolina, and this handful of other states.
Right.
They wrote these, sappy apologies. Oh, we apologize for what we did.
Yes.
That is an admission.
Right. So what you're saying is we're going to take that state to court, no?
No, what we're saying is we're going to hold the union accountable because they were complicit with that state. Just like how they do RICO cases.
And then my problem with that is that seems to trickle down into more taxation from the people, which we end up paying ourselves that reparations back.
Not tax free.
Well, that's the thing, right? You'd have to get you're trying to get two cases now. You're trying to get the bag and you're trying to get tax exemption.
No. What I'm saying is
when I'm looking at it like this. You go to the government. You say, look, y'all are guilty. Give me tax exemption. Okay, you corporations, you're guilty. You've already admitted your guilt. Give me the bag. You see, when you take the tax exemption from the government, there's no expense. They're going to lose some income, so there's some expense at some point, right?
Right.
But it's not the same as saying, hey, we want a bag. When we can get the bag from AIG, Barclays, these other corporations who manipulate our economy and society.
I don't think you heard me out. I said that is part tax-free exemption is part of the bag.
Right. No, I heard you say that.
Bag.
Right. Yeah.
And then if hold on now, it's amazing how these liberals have no problem. And this is a good point when you say make liberals pay, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's paraphrasing what you say.
Yeah, Dems must pay.
Dems must pay. So they have no problem with saying, hey, tax the billionaires harder. Okay. Tax them harder to make up for this debt. That's fine. What is that business to mine? Like I said, I am not here to figure out their problem or how they're going to pay their bills.
Yeah.
All I know is I have an invoice that says we're owed. I'm here to pick up my great 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 grandfather's last check that he never got with interest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's hop off the reparations debate. I think we've exhausted that.
Yeah.
And thank you for that discourse, by the way.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Very exhilarating.
You made me think. I mean, I had to actually think about what I understand, what I believe.
Yeah, I mean, we got to squeeze the juice out of this conversation. It's not often I get to have this conversation. You know, this is a very unique, sharp conversation today. You know, usually it's just an interview and I'm trying to get to know the guest and pick their brain. Today, it's more of a, oh, wow, I have my confidant, my brother, my cousin here with me. And he looks at things one way. I look at things another way. I'm not right. I'm not wrong. You're not right. You're not wrong. There's a middle ground to be found, right?
The best ideas will win.
Right. Right. So let's talk ADOS. I don't like the psychological ramifications with attaching ourselves to slavery. When our lineage predates slavery, does it not?
Of course it does.
So why don't we attach ourselves to that instead of slavery?
Who said I was disattaching myself from that?
You called yourself ADOS.
No. What I'm saying is we're a very specific group, and that's why I want to make the analogy to another group that has a very specific history that they identify with. And nobody says anything to them when they want to bring up, you know, we came out of Egypt. You know, we overcame this.
You know the difference between the difference between the Black American.
What's that?
And all the other races.
What's that?
We allow the divide and conquer. We allow the separation. We allow I am different from the African. I am different from the Caribbean. Chinese man is a Chinese man no matter where he is on earth. That's why they rounded them up back in the day. That's why they rounded up the Japanese back in the day, because they knew, although they were Japanese American or Chinese American, their loyalty was to the home country. The divide and conquer that the European, the divide and conquer that the European carried out to divide us into separate nations, to divide Africa into 200 plus nations or whatever, I can't remember. To divide the continent up into different nations was the psyop. That was the tactic. And here we are trying to separate ourselves from everybody else. And I'm like, wouldn't we be more powerful to unite globally the entire diaspora? Because white people are actually the minority on this planet. We operate as a minority in America when we can act as a majority globally. They talk about globalists. We are the majority globally and don't exercise that power, which is why we are disenfranchised all over the globe. How am I wrong?
Because when you look at Europe, how many different countries are in Europe? When you look at Asia, how many different countries are in Asia? So to lump us all together as a monolith and then compare it to one nation of the Chinese, I think that's not comparing apples to apples. Now let's go back.
White people aren't oppressed. They have that luxury. They have the luxury to say I'm Irish, to say I'm Italian. They have that luxury. They are not on the bottom. When you are on the bottom, you can't operate like the people on the top.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is that let's go back to the car crash analogy, right? Mm-hmm. So you hit me in the car, and then I come pick you up, and you want to say, "Hey, I need to be paid too because I had to ride in his raggedy car because it was in a car crash." Bro, that don't work like that. It don't work like that, and that's what I'm saying. We have to keep these who's the plaintiff, you know what I'm saying, in the case, who needs to be making the request. Now, if they want to go back and make a case, I'm all for it. Give them the blueprint. Even we can collaborate. You want to go after the French, you want to go after the British, that's fine. So be it. You want to go after now you're trying to lump in colonization with American slavery. That's two different systems. And then second of all, I don't think we're all the same. Like I mean, you're trying to paint us all as the same. I think that we have very unique backgrounds. That's why you find so many.
I mean, a brother from Newark ain't the same as a brother from Trenton, but it's still a brother. So, like, that nuance is irrelevant to me, bro.
So that, no, but what you're trying to say is,
oh, I'm different. I walk different. I talk different.
No.
Nigga,
What
you
you're trying to
still
say
black
is,
when a cop pull your ass over.
what you're trying to say is the Chinese is the same as the Japanese is the
I
same
didn't say
as
that.
the. No, I'm saying that's what you're saying with us trying to do the same thing. That's how I hear it.
What I'm saying is,
We
on
need
the
to
African continent, the people are oppressed by the Arab world. They're oppressed by the European. When we go to South America, they're oppressed by the white Hispanic. We got ethnic cleansing in Argentina.
Okay.
Black people are oppressed in Brazil. Black people are oppressed in America. No matter where you go in the globe, black people are oppressed. Why is that? Because there is no unification.
Because black equals bottom. See, there you go with that term again.
Well, we can play the semantics game. I prefer not to. I prefer not to.
No, it's
I'm
not
using
semantics.
black very loosely. If you want to call them African, if you want to call them person one, whatever term you want to call us, let's say person one. Person one equals the Negroid race, the melanated people, whatever you want to call it. It's a semantics game I don't want to play. The bottom line is, these melanated people, person one across the globe, are oppressed.
But it's different.
White people ain't oppressed.
It's different. Oh, wait a minute. Last time I checked, they was whipping everybody's heads and they didn't have a mask on. That's the other thing. So I mean, we got it. Like that, we all got to all realize that it's us and them at the end of the day. But
it's us and them.
Yes.
Boom. So you just united us.
Once that's the whole point of atonement.
Okay, so us, who is us? Who is us?
ADOS, foundational blacks, and then when you start.
What about my brothers in the Caribbean? What about my brothers in South America and Africa?
Let me ask you this question: What embassy could you and I go to as
an American embassy?
No, I'm talking about here in America, right down the road from DC. Which one of them can take me in and take me?
None of them. You're not a national.
I thought we were brothers.
That's my whole point. If we united globally, we would have an embassy. That's my point. You missing the point, my G.
No, you're missing my point.
You just proved my point. The fact that we don't have an embassy here that unites us with Africa is the exact problem I'm talking about.
No,
you just named the symptom of the problem.
Hold on. Nigeria has an embassy. Ghana has an embassy.
These are nations. These are nations. I'm talking about people.
But what I'm saying,
I'm talking about blood.
Listen what I'm saying. If I go to their gate right now of any of those embassies and say, take me in, just like when they come in those caravans up through South America.
You are talking about legalities. You were talking about European ideas. This idea of an embassy. These ideas of nation states.
So don't say I started the division. I didn't start the division.
I didn't say you started the division.
No, I'm saying the ADOS Foundation of Blacks and Native Black. We didn't start the division. Nobody opened their doors and take us home.
You're perpetuating it.
No, I'm not. I'm saying what we have to do is we have to coalesce and solidify with each other here first.
I disagree.
Oh, no. Come on now.
I believe that the so-called ADOS is already unified. People keep talking about, black people need unity. Black people need unity. Turn on the electric slide. Watch how fast we unite.
Behind what is considered to be black, which is a narrative.
No, culture. It's culture. It's culture.
No, that's a narrative, bro. There's a difference.
So black people don't have a culture?
No.
Oh, okay. We don't have a culture.
No, we don't have a culture.
All right. I actually agree with that. That's
what I'm saying. That's why I want us to form our own culture here first. So then people will have self-respect for it.
What's your definition of a culture?
Culture is an agreed set of rules that every family will raise their children up under. And then we'll have an appreciation for the same things like music and tones of music and instruments that we created. And, you know, and electric slot dances. I mean, I guess that's the closest thing we have to a tribal dance. I mean, but it's accepted all around. It's accepted all around the world that this act identifies to that group of people.
When I went to Africa, I sat down at a business meeting, and the African brother at the end of the table said to me, "Welcome home." I looked at him, I smiled, and I said, "Thank you." And he looked back shocked. He looked back shocked because he thought I was one of those Negroes that would say, "What do you mean? I'm not African." No, I recognize that he is my cousin across the seas.
I'm about to get you now. I'm about to get you.
Get me.
I'm about to get you.
Get me.
How can you say you're African? You know, everybody here in this country, on this landmass, didn't come from Africa, or came from Africa before it was Africa. Come on, bro. Come on. I mean, you know, just like I know. You not.
We have expeditions of Abu Khari leaving the empire of Mali,
right?
Which predates Columbus, and he had expeditions that came to the United States. Right. When Christopher Columbus landed in Saint Domingue, he said that they had boats with oars. The natives, the black native, person one natives. And they could carry 80 people plus. So we're talking about a seafaring people. We're talking about our people were seafaring. So to say, you know, that we are not African is another semantics game. We are a people who have traveled the entire globe. In fact, when you look at every European expedition, they all say, everywhere we go, we see these people. They haven't separated them. They keep saying, everywhere we go, we see the Negroid.
So that's my point, is that if we're all over the world, you just can't say everybody's African. There's people that's Filipino that looks like us.
Well, again, you know, when you're playing the semantics game.
No, I'm not. What I'm saying is this. Let me ask you.
You're saying because I use the word African, if I use the word melanated, if I use the word person A, whatever term you want to use. When I went to the African continent, the man said to me, "Welcome home."
And I would say to that person, what are you doing to open up the embassy so many more of us can come home? That's what I'm saying. I mean, don't get me with the platitudes, bro. Open up the embassies. Let us have our caravans.
Are you familiar?
And Miami. Hold on, let me get this one out. Let us have our caravans, just like they have coming out of Central America. That have black caravans going across America, coming to Washington D.C. to get out of here if they feel that way.
Do you have any desire to unite with the people on the African continent?
What do you mean? I have enough. I got my hands full uniting with people up the street.
That's a yes or no question. Do you have any inclination to unite with the people on the African continent?
Of course.
Okay. What about the people in the Caribbean? What about the people in the Caribbean and the people in South America?
Of course.
Oh, why?
But guess what?
Answer the question. Why?
You said why?
Why?
Because I can do business with anybody.
So it's just a business thing.
That's what it is with everybody in this world. What are you talking about?
Okay.
That's how white supremacy was created. Come on, bro. that was
I don't believe in the idea of white supremacy.
You don't?
No.
You don't?
White supremacy is
you believe in Illuminati? You believe in Illuminati?
No. White supremacy is white supremacy is an idea purported by ADOS. It is promoted and held at high self-esteem by ADOS. It is an idea that if ADOS let go would disintegrate. What I believe in is black supremacy.
You're missing my point.
Okay.
You're missing my point. What I'm saying is this system of white supremacy was set up, and it's nothing but a weird form of nepotism.
It's not a system of white supremacy.
It's It's not?
No, it's not a system of white supremacy. If it was a system of white supremacy, all white people would benefit.
No, they have the ability to benefit from it. They're not saying we're going to let you benefit.
You realize that Nigerians out-earn white people. Single male Nigerians come to America out-earn white people.
Why is that? Because they're the top 10% of their nation coming here.
So they out-earn white people here.
Okay, so that's like me saying, I'm going to take...
How is a system of if the system of white supremacy was so strong and so great, why is it not stopping upward mobility of this great African?
Because they subscribe to that system.
Who subscribes to that system?
Those people that are handpicked to come from that nation to come here.
They subscribe to what system? The system of white supremacy?
Yes.
Okay, explain that.
Just like the boule. Bro, America ain't the only one with a boule.
So it's not a system of white supremacy. It's a system of class.
No, it's a system of white supremacy because at the end of the day, when you accept that these are going to be the cultural norms that you're going to, and what I'm saying is this, as long as you accept, and I want to say this, when you go to Asia, what kind of business suits do they wear? Come on.
You said when you go to Asia, what type of business suits do they wear?
Yes.
The European style.
Exactly. Why is that? And they're their own nation with their own history and culture. Why is that? Because they understand to be taken seriously, you have to dress in a certain manner.
Why the Arabs don't do that?
Because they have their own financial base in oil.
Oh, so your financial base is really what?
Of course.
That's
why I'm trying to build.
So what we're talking about. So we're talking about is wealth supremacy and not white supremacy.
Well, when you create laws to say, you know what, I want people to look like me to thrive, and I want to say this: everybody that look white ain't white.
This country wasn't built for white people. I can't say why on this platform, but this country wasn't built for white people.
No, but no, that's what I'm saying. Everybody that looks white is not white.
Yeah.
I mean, we had white slavery too. I mean, let's keep it one up. But what white supremacy said is, we gotta let the Italians in. We gotta let we have to let the Catholics in. They even did it off of religion. We have to let the Irish in because we gotta keep our numbers strong. Now they're doing the same thing with Hispanics. We gotta let the Hispanics in. Let them file white. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So white color. It's a legal definition.
Is that?
Yeah.
It's not about color.
Yeah.
That's what I keep trying to tell you. It's not about color.
I'm very familiar with that. In fact, in the 90s, the Arabs were able to classify themselves as white when they come over here as immigrants.
Right. That's why I keep telling you. It's about a class. So if that's the case, then we're not talking about color.
We're talking
about who's allowed. I'm using this analogy before. It's just like if you're a sports fan. You know how they talk in the terms of, we won the game last night. We won the game. You know what I'm saying? We played well. And they ain't got out there on no field. But if you went to one of the 53-man rosters on the Cowboys and say, is he a Cowboy? Like, hell no. It's only 53. He's only 53 players and the coaching staff and the ownership. Now, we'll let them be fans. We'll let them push our agenda and our narrative. That's cool. Here, buy this paraphernalia. Here, buy this memorabilia. Wear this jersey. Wear this hat. But when it comes down to it, they're not wasp. Let's keep it a buck.
Indeed. Let me read some super chats real fast. I totally agree with you, by the way, on that last statement. Oh, yes, you are absolutely correct, Mr. Moe Factz. Let me see, where we at? Martin Vinstead. I know I am from Europa, but damn, what black people have given us from America is earth-shaking and legacy will stick. Thank you. Big Elvis, the chef Rosenberg, said, respect the show. Craig Gilbo Jr. said, without entrepreneurship, there is no working class or economy. How do you think the government is financed? Indeed. Radix said, great to have been here. Respect to Moe Factz and Hotep Jesus. Thank you. Dimas Aja. She said, first corporation set up that did not have article of incorporation is Hudson's Bay in 1670. Corporations were set up so that they are protected and are more powerful than governments itself. NAFTA is an example. Very educated woman right there. Martin Vinstead, Scandinavia ain't a part of that. Acoustic Theory said, you need to be very specific about the grievance. There are plenty of grievances experienced by blacks that might produce a case, but are not slavery. Indeed. Blacks need to mature their argumentation before they can expect to pursue redress of grievances. Oppressive experience of all blacks are not the same. Yeah. Dimazaja said, as an Afro descent, we are Ubuntu. Wherever we are brothers and sisters. There's the limitation within ourselves that we don't appreciate each other's history. And when global Afro diasporas unite, we dominate. Talk. You saw that with the last World Cup when France had a majority of their starting lineup filled with Africans. You see what happens. Acoustic Theory said culture is the sum of all shared narrative of a population. I like that. Judah Jr. said, we have no black culture, quote unquote, black. A culture sets a standard and an expectation. Sorry. What standard and expectation is being set by so-called black culture? I love that comment, Judah. Moe dropping black for Afro descent. How would you explain Indian descent in Trinidad, South Africa, or Kenya? How many still wear red saris and wear jasmine flower necklace when they marry their children? Seems like they're attached to their lineage. Ken Thoreau says, this conversation is a gift for so many reasons. Thank you both for putting this together, Hotep and Build. Martin Emphasis said, Hotep, go, go. Judah Jr., white supremacy is often mistaken for rulers. Oh, indeed. Let's stick on this white supremacy. I think this is a great conversation we're having, and you're bringing up some really great points that a lot of people are just not aware of. Like the fact that white has nothing to do with skin color, right?
At all.
Oh, powerful statement, Mr. Moe Factz. Can you explain that some more?
Because the true white people are the ones that created white. And like I said again, now if I want my numbers to be strong and and appear like we are large in number, I'll engraft people into my group. Okay, you're allowed to be white. Yes, check the box.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. And that's why you think it's a system of white supremacy, because white equals supreme in law in America.
Correct.
That's a great argument, Mo. It's a really great argument. It's a really great argument. When you put it like that, it's really hard to refute. It is really hard to refute. The only thing I can say about that is what if ADOS classify themselves as white legally? Then what?
You get laughed out of wherever office you go into.
It's happened before.
No, what I'm saying is if I put white on a job application, I show up, they'll say this man has mental health problems.
Maybe they lack education.
Hold on, let me ask you this question.
Okay.
And I know I asked a lot of questions on your platform.
Oh, no. This is a great conversation. Please do.
The reason why I'm asking, why is it that Meghan Markle's child can have a white daddy, a half white mama? Doesn't mean he had 3 white grandparents to be called black, but if it was inverse, they couldn't call themselves white. You see what I'm saying?
So you're saying that the majority of his family is white.
He has
but the
3 white grandparents and 1 black grandparent.
But the baby is black.
No, he can identify as black and nobody say anything.
Okay.
But if you had a child with 3 black grandparents, 1 white grandparent, and they want to call themselves white, people will look at them like they were crazy. Now, how does that work? If that's not the case, if that's not the exact representation of white supremacy, I don't know what it is.
So let's just walk through this one more time. I just want to let this sink in before I dive into it, because that's a very, very interesting thing you brought up there, right? So the baby is majority white lineage or Caucasian.
75% Caucasian, 25%.
Right.
African.
And if he wanted to, because he had that little sliver of black in him, let's just say black person A, whatever we're using as a term, right?
That's fine. Yeah.
He can identify as black anytime he wants.
Correct.
But if a black child with brown skin wanted to identify as white, he'd be a joke.
Correct.
Sounds like black supremacy to me. Seems like blacks overrides anything.
No, what I'm saying is
the black baby is black, and the white baby is black too.
No, what I'm saying legally, if that baby
Well,
was to check
well,
the
that's
white
a
box.
well. You said
No,
in front of
yeah,
other
yeah.
people, you'd be an embarrassment. So that's not a legal case. That's a social case.
Well, it is social. Well, legalism defines social behavior.
Well,
Just like 20 years
legally,
ago it was okay, 30 years ago it was okay to whoop your kids. Now if you do it in the grocery store because they tripping all over Fruity Pebbles, you know what I'm saying? People call the police on you.
legally, Sarah Rector, a so-called black woman, was classified as white. Legally.
Okay.
So are we having a social conversation with Meghan Markle's baby? Or are we having a legal conversation?
You can't divide one from the other, and that's why I keep trying to say about making a legal case about reparation, not to go back.
Okay.
We have to do things legally. And I want to say this. Instead of being one against each other in these different tribes that we have as black people, let's pick and choose what they're great at. The Moors are great at law. Let's take their mindset in law.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The Nation of Islam, and they're great with the militaristic, the structure, the self-empowerment, a lot of things that you own, entrepreneurship, having your own. Let's pluck that from them.
Yes.
The civil rights movement, they were great with narrative.
Yes.
With using the media system, you know, to bring things to fruition. Let's pluck that from there.
Right.
The Hebrew Israelites, let's pluck what they have there about what the lineage is coming from and who we really are. Let's pluck that from there.
Okay.
Right? Instead of pitting these groups against each other. And and what I would put from the HOTEPS is your vision forward. Cryptocurrency, going into the cyber, into the 21st, 22nd century. When I hear you talk about, no, let's not say, oh, these are completely right, these are completely wrong. Let's let all these things thrive. Let the best ideas float to the top, and that's what we go with. So I have a very legalistic mind from what the Moors bring forward.
Yes.
That's
so that's why I asked you. That's why I asked you, are we in regards to the Meghan Markle baby, are we talking about social or legal? And you said
it's legal.
Okay, so it's legal. So what I'm saying is, going back to reparation, if so-called black people classify themselves as white, wouldn't that relieve some of our problems legally, or no?
No, because white would just come up with another term.
Okay. You're right. You're right.
That's just moving the goalposts on you.
You're right.
That's why they came up with the term colored people. Or people of color.
Yes.
Let's just they were like, oh, they're becoming too stratified. No. Let's have colored. And what that really means is let's have pure and unpure. Let's just keep it with buck. Before they didn't have all these other groups they had to worry about in the early, 1900, late 1800s. It was black and white. It was straight clear. They didn't have the stratification that South Africa had with your colors and those things, right? It was just clear cut, either white or black.
Yes.
This is what the Democrats and the liberals did all over again. They said it's coming too stratified. It's too hard to control the Latino agenda and the black agenda and, all these different agendas. Let's make a colored sandwich. They call them people of color. And it's very easy to deal with them that way. So that's what they're always going to do. They're just going to keep smashing us down. But what I'm saying is we have to really, first of all, step one, I'm a very step-oriented person. That's how I lay out my playlist on my clips. It's like I got to go from step one to step two to step three. We have to fix us first. And what I mean by us is our brothers we see every day, the brothers that we kill every day because we think they're less than, because they look like us and we don't love ourselves. We have to fix those first. We have to identify that mother that's on crack that had a baby in her stomach and say, you know what? I'm not going to poison my little brother or sister. Beat it down the block. That's why we had to fix our problems first. Now, once we get on our feet, we can create our own stronghold here, then we can work with other nations. And maybe I'll say to that brother that said to you, welcome home, brother, you put the pressure on your nation to open up those embassies. Now, they have no problem scooping out the cream of the crop. You said taking the cream off the top and trying to romance the black celebrities to come back to Africa. You saw that whole push in the last 2 years. But they're not going to open up the door to their everyday
well, when we look at Africa, Let me just take my time here. Africa is going to be the new America. There's a reason why China is making a massive push into Africa. And it's going to be a really huge mistake for anybody of any race to ignore Africa. As a businessman, you cannot ignore Africa. Mark Zuckerberg is putting free internet in certain places in Africa to bring people to Facebook, of course, and other things. George W. Bush is building his own city in Kigamboni, Tanzania. So it seems like everybody's making this big push because they think hundreds of years ahead into Africa. But ADOS are like, we got to worry about us here. Seems that the gold rush is happening in Africa and the gold rush in America is over.
But what you just say about the Nigerians and they're the top earners in America? Why are they coming here?
Why are they coming here?
Let me ask you a question.
Well, no, you just asked the question. Can I answer that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. They are coming here because they do not know how to manipulate the places they live in. They come to America for the opportunity and the capitalist benefits of the America.
Okay.
Right? It behooves them that if they come to America to take that wealth and transfer it back to Africa. Do you agree or disagree before I can?
But when they transfer that wealth back to Africa, guess what else they're transferring back?
What is that?
That education and indoctrination that they got at these Ivy League schools.
Very possible. But I mean, but they already getting it. They already getting it though. If you look at South Africa's already pushing this socialist feminist idea. They're getting it already through the internet. So that stuff's happening already.
No,
what I'm saying
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that education. I'm talking about how to oppress the bottom 90%. Now you can go back. You can pretend to be me. Okay, go ahead. Go over there and you pretend to be me. But don't forget who taught you. So that's what I want to know. And I had to push back against
when the Indians, when an Indian comes to America, where does he send his wealth? When a Mexican comes to America, where does he send his wealth? Does he send it back to his home nation? Or does he say what Moe Factz says and goes, oh, the top is going to oppress? He doesn't say that. He sends the money back home.
No, they don't.
Okay,
No. They send for more to come here. They don't send the money back home.
They don't send the money back home?
No, they send for more to come here. And the problem with that is the same problem with America in general. America Inc., and let me make this clear. I'm not talking about the United States. I'm talking about America Inc. is so seductive. All of us fall prey to it. As soon as you get a taste of the real America, you ain't gonna leave it. We like our $5 cups of coffee. Bro, you're not leaving America. I don't care where you go. And you could ask anybody in the world, how much would you sell your American citizenship for? And they'd be like, shit, excuse my language. I don't know if we cuss on here. But that's what they would say, because nothing like being in America, bro. There's nothing. America is the most seductive thing there is. And that's why I transport Western, what they call Western, but that's nothing but American.
So why is China making a big push into Africa?
Because they're allowed to.
They don't have an interest?
No, you missed what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but you have to have an interest first.
Right. Well, I mean,
why do they have an interest in Africa?
Because they're allowed to have an interest there. If there was some real threat to the economic power system that's set up, it would be fortified and not allowed to go there.
Okay.
Trust me on that.
All right. Black Lives Matter. How do you feel about the Black Lives Matter organization? Are you in alignment with the Black Lives Matter organization?
Of course not. They're a witch coven. the devils in the necromancy of black men for the benefit of of heterosexual non-black men population. If that was clear.
You said it's what about heterosexual men?
They dabble in the necromancy.
I like how you put that.
Say their name.
We
will use you for cannon fodder. We will use you for murals, but we will not let you have a position in this society, in our society. That's why I'm saying everybody cuts deals with white supremacy, bro. That thing is seductive. And like that, hey, you know what's up. You know what's up.
Oh, I do. I just wanted to hear you say it. And I wanted the people to hear you say it. But what's funny is, no, go ahead.
And I peeped this when because what I do is I follow narratives. I've always been like this, even before, and that's how I kind of got into this, just by following narratives. So when the hashtag first popped up on Twitter, I use Twitter like a spectator sport, right? I got an account, not the Moe Factz account, but another account that I would just used to watch.
Okay.
And I'm like, what's trending? And I saw Black Lives Matter pop up. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But understanding how the civil rights movement, all those things went down, let me go and see what's behind it. So I went to their website. And this thing that everybody's so surprised about now that they removed, I picked that thing like 4 or 5 years ago at this same time. I peeped, I was like, whoa. Where's black men at? Where are black men? And people get mad at the patriarchy, but you'll never have a society that's not patriarchal.
You'll never have a society that's not patriarchal?
You'll never have a society that's not patriarchal. Yes, I said it.
What do you mean by society?
A functioning society that creates culture. And now you wonder why we don't have a culture. Because we don't have a patriarchy.
In order to have a culture, you need a patriarchy?
Yes.
You couldn't have a balance between the patriarchy and matriarchy?
What I'm saying to you, okay, let me rephrase that. A patriarchal led society.
The man has to lead.
He has to lead. I live in a nice, rural Virginia area, right? And a female squirrel would never lay down with a male squirrel that couldn't catch her.
Okay.
That's why they submit to me. Because they realize that, what?
That sounds matriarchal.
No, that sounds very patriarchal.
But she made the decision. She's the one saying, you have to pass this test if you want me. She has the power.
No.
Say what you just said again. You said a female squirrel will not mate unless the squirrel can prove himself.
Yes.
Is that not meaning she has the power?
No. Because now we're talking about humans. The reason why I made that analogy. If you can't present an idea, a image, a future, let's say like when a man meets a woman,
okay,
she has to say, this dude is going somewhere. Probably somewhere farther than I can get myself. Let me latch on to him.
Okay.
That's why it's not matriarchal. Now, is the matriarchy important? Yes, it is. One can't exist without the other, but one has to be lead. You only have one person in the driver's seat at a time. It's a mess to have two people in the driver's seat trying to drive. so when that's why a man asks for a woman in marriage. He's saying, "Are you gonna go with me on this trip?" Now he might get tired. She has to take the wheel every once in a while. You understand? We can rest, blah blah blah. But she has to see his vision. Bro, it's very simple. It's very simple.
When you say you can't have a society unless it's led by the patriarchy, it's not historically factual, because there were many native tribes in the Americas where the women operated, just to make it easy for people to understand, the women were the Senate and the men were the House of Representatives. The women were the head. Now the men still
center
carry...
and head are two different things.
Okay.
That's like my wife. She's my crown jewel.
Okay.
That's why black women get so frustrated with black men and like, why don't you put us on a pedestal like the white woman? Who built that pedestal? Who built that pedestal to put her on it? You see what I'm saying? They understand now. You have to be good to. I'm not. And
I
when we
feel
say
like
patriarchy,
I feel like the black man who says that has been cucked. He's not a patriarch. He himself is a beta. See, a man.
What's that?
A
Go
bit.
back. Yeah, I'm gonna understand what you're saying.
Alpha versus beta, right?
Okay. No, you said when he says that black. You said
when a black man says, "Oh, the black woman won't put me on a pedestal," that's some bitch shit.
No. I said the black woman says that to the black man. He says, "Why don't you put me on a pedestal like the white man does the white woman?"
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's why I want to clarify what.
Okay.
I didn't want to go.
Right. Okay, I'm sorry. Right. Yeah. Okay. So the black woman is saying, "Why don't you put me on a pedestal like the white man?" But the white man don't put the white woman on a pedestal. He be whooping her ass. He's been oppressing her.
No.
Who got the vote first, black man or the white woman?
Well, let me say this because the House.
Who got the vote first, Mo? Black man or the white woman?
I'm explaining to you why. We both know the answer to that. I mean, that's a straw man question.
Okay.
But we got to look at the why. Let's go deeper here. Why? Because if you had a man and a woman on the same page and they're voting, what's the two votes the same way? What does that mean? If you know what I mean, just let the man vote. But now you have the situation where you have a woman as a Republican, man as a Democrat, vice versa. You know, this turmoil in the House. You know, that kind of thing. You understand what I'm saying? When they were on the same page, moving the same way. Go ahead, honey. I
feel like maybe the black woman does say that, right? But I disagree with her. I don't see white men putting white women on a pedestal. I see quite the opposite. Do you agree or not?
I totally disagree.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm saying that is you got to look at it. And we're talking about so-called white here. We do not talk about color.
Right.
But when you go into the to wasp land, I call them a killer wasp. They don't want their woman working. They'll hire a nanny and a maid. You know, I want you to be Gentile. I don't want you to be stressed, and these kind of things.
Yeah.
And then when a black woman has to get up, catch 2 buses to go to work, for that said white woman,
okay,
and goes home, it's like, why don't you give me what she has?
I think what they envy is the fact that the white woman didn't have to work. I don't know if the white woman.
And that's that pedestal I'm talking about. All you have to, I'm gonna build this nice, comfortable nest for you here, and all you have to do is birth the children.
I think it's not about a pedestal. It's more about subjugation. No, it's about saying, if this woman cannot provide for herself, then I have power over her and she can't go anywhere, because if she leaves me, she's now homeless or whatever. I think it's more about having control over the woman as opposed to putting her on a pedestal.
You really think that?
Yes.
No, I don't think you really think that. The reason why I say that is, if you did, then you would be trying to tear down the patriarchy. But you understand that a family man that loves his wife and loves his children will do anything for them. Will do any, and the reason why I'm saying this, I come from a man like that. Had a hole in his shoes and had cardboard in it so we could have half. So we don't oppress, real men don't oppress women. They build them an environment where they can thrive in it and the children can thrive in it.
Yes.
And they don't have to deal with the outside world and their bosses Me Tooing their wives. Now you wonder why, now you understand why he didn't want his woman working. Because he understood what it meant to be a secretary in those times. We saw Mad Men. We know what time it is. Come on, bro. It's like, no, honey, I don't want you to do that. And then I'm doing so well. Let's bring in a nanny. The kids, I see this is it's having a stress on you, the kids and all. Let's get you some help. Ain't that what that movie was called? The Help?
Yeah.
What was that about? Let's bring in the black women to be the help to the white woman, and I'll finance you this lifestyle. That's what it was about. And then when you have to go to work as a black woman and see this every day and come home, there's going to be animosity between you and your man. because she's not going to look at you like a real man.
Mm.
And that's the real trick of white supremacy right there. And like I always say on my show with Adam, I say it just happens to us first.
Mm-hmm.
White people are just experiencing feminism right now for the first time in this way. We've been dealing with this forever.
Wait, when you say right now, what time period are you talking about?
Let's say from 2000 on.
What about the
that was second wave. It's a little different.
It was different?
Yeah.
How?
Because those weren't really feminists, they were womanists. It's a little different. They were seeking equality. These women are seeking superiority. There's a
okay. It's evolved.
Well, it's I wouldn't say evolved because that mean it was positive. No, it's metastasized. That's why I would say
okay.
into something that's they don't understand what they're asking for. They really don't understand what they're asking for. But like I said, this is the first time the white man has been seeing and pulling back the veil on what we've been dealing with since what's her name? The chick for the CIA for 17 magazine, when they designed this whole plan to use black women as the crowbar.
Front lines. Yeah. Crowbar. I like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And they tricked the black woman into joining the women's liberation movement.
Exactly.
And that divided the civil rights and the black movement. Yeah. Totally.
So then you have black women, the black men's taking on. I mean, we have to go down the timeline here. The black men's taking out the home. The black woman's made head of household. She goes and works with her white co-workers. Mm-hmm. She's like, girl, I ain't got to answer no man. What you talking about? Mm. And then that white woman goes home. You know, Brenda, she doesn't have to take this. You know what I'm saying? But that's how it works. When they create this system of white supremacy, it always comes back to bite them in the ass. Mm. Excuse my language, but it does.
Okay, let me read some super chats real fast here. Aztec Mecca, $10 super chat, said about 10 minutes behind. So sorry if y'all covered this, but Mo's plan to go after the government for the bag is going to lead to higher taxes. The government has no money, but the money they take from us. Quizler, $10 super chat. I love Mo. Hope to see him in more places. ITM. That's love. Dimazaja, breaking news. Colored people spot is taken. Brown people spot is taken. Only spot available, black or Afro descent. While you divide in hopes to conquer, that's double standard. Africa gives you a passport to come and invest. That's true. You can get an African passport. I plan on getting my position. Sketch therapy. Is he a Marxist? Is he a socialist? Just wondering. We're going to talk about socialist Marxist a bit. Dimazaja, no one's asking you to leave America, though you have economic power to shift narratives with unity of global Afros. Lisa Ray got knighted to represent your people as an ambassador in Ghana. That's the kind of talk Hotep mean. DW, great point, Alima. Thanks, Moe Factz, for coming on this platform. Tell that hater star to stop instigating diaspora. DTW twin, HTA dropping bars, keeping the gloves up. Salute, Hotep. Yeah, it's just, we're having this when I listen to Moe Factz's podcast with Adam Curry, I could tell that me and him are on opposite ends on a lot of different things. But at a very high level, I think we want the best for our people, right? And I think that's what really matters. So this conversation is very much different than any other conversation I've had with people on my platform, because I want to understand the mind of the ADOS that I don't understand. I'm looking for a liberal to come on this channel, a socialist to come on this channel and have these talks too. I'm just trying to understand. Because my dad's from Jamaica. My mom's from America. Mm-hmm. So my mom's quote unquote ADOS. Mm-hmm. And my father is Jamaican.
Right.
So I think like both of y'all. I think like both. I see both sides, So this is a very interesting conversation. You're not a Marxist or a socialist, right?
No, I'm a capitalist in the purest form of the word. Buy for oneself and two.
Awesome. You own any businesses?
I'm working on it, and that's why I was saying about the working. That's what I'm saying about the working man.
Okay.
a lot of working men have aspirations and dreams of controlling their own future.
Yeah.
But they never have the free capital or the free time. Sometimes it's not even about capital. Sometimes it's just about time, right? That you can invest 40 hours into yourself. You know, you got your kids, you got the wife, you got the job. What time do you have to invest in growing your business? Now, if there's a windfall of cash to come in and say, you know what, I can take a risk and say, you know what, I'm going to quit this job.
Yeah.
And take a risk on. And I'm not talking about some super sophisticated business.
Right. Right. It doesn't have to be.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, it doesn't have to be my main source of income, but I can supplement my income where I can invest in my children's futures.
Yeah.
See, there's a lot of brothers out there like us. And I think that's what I speak for. Look, I am not a leader. I am not a spokesperson. I am, what I like to say, I'm the voice of the customer. Let me say it like that in a term you can understand, right? I am letting people know how these narratives land with the average, everyday, run-of-the-mill black man. I have no agenda except for furthering my lineage. And you know the scary thing about it is, you know the biggest fear I had when I really got on this wave? Who are my kids gonna marry? That's a real thought of mine.
What do you mean? When you mean who? You mean, are you talking about race?
Yes.
Are they going to have a European or an ADOS spouse?
I would prefer them to have somebody that can relate to them. And like you said about your mom and dad, you know, they come from two different backgrounds.
Yeah.
So it's and Muhammad Ali said this. He said, even a black woman in a Muslim country can't understand me like my black woman can in America. So, I mean, they can marry and love who they want to love. It's not my choice. But what I'm saying is when I look around, I'm like, either I can go into the boule, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's a real choice for talented brothers like us. Let's keep it 100. Well, you can say those Negroes, oh, this is what they need, you know, and start looking down our nose at them. I'd rather be amongst my people and for my people and say, you know what, we're not as screwed up as y'all think we are. The real screwed up part is the system that indoctrinates us to believe that we're less than. And I understand where your point of slavery comes from, the slave mind. And I say this also, I say that the narrative of slavery has been just as damaging, if not more than damaging, than the actual act of slavery. So I'm not buying into the slave mind, I'm not.
Can you expand upon that point?
Well, okay, slavery ended, right? Day 2.
Okay.
It wasn't written about, wasn't recorded, and these people just had to, you know, go about the everyday life. It's that narrative that keeps us oppressed. And that's why Kanye got so roasted when he said slavery was a choice. To think with the slave mind is a choice.
Yes.
The problem is the people that think with the slave mind don't realize it's a choice. They think it's an obligation. I got to keep it real, son. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta you understand? I got to hold it down. So, no, you don't. I got to keep it black. But soon as everybody gets a chance to get out of blackness, they take that option. Because they understand black is a comfort mechanism. It's a falsehood. It's a falsehood. We're greater than that. We're greater than that color. And that's another thing I appreciate about the Moors. That's what I said. It's a lot of smart brothers out there with a lot of great ideas. You got to pick and choose like a buffet. But we're gonna put it on our plate. You said
you wanted to get into business, right?
Yes.
What kind of business are you talking about?
Well, I'm looking into real estate right now, and I'm looking to co-partner with my man E-Class on a couple of bread routes.
What kind of routes?
Bread routes.
What's that?
You know, you do the delivering your bread, and you own your own truck and that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Very simple.
Yeah.
So entry, you know, but what that does is that protects me for being codependent upon a single flow of income.
Sure.
Which
sure.
That's real freedom. That's real freedom.
Facts. That's some Moe Factz. That's absolutely true. Elections are a big part of the talk today. Dr. Claude Anderson. You thought I forgot, didn't you? Dr. Claude Anderson used to say, hey, it didn't make no sense to vote. Today in the Breakfast Club, he did a 180 and he said that this election is very important for us to vote in. Seemed like he did a complete 180. What is happening with Dr. Claude Anderson? What's going through?
If I had to put myself in his shoes, I see one of two or three things happening here. Mm-hmm. Either one, he got the bag.
He sold out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or two, now we got to look at his motive for selling out. He could sit here and say, you know what? I gave the same plan or a better plan to the Democrats and Republicans. And they go with a rapper. I mean, we can't look at these things in vacuums.
Okay.
He's probably looking like, can you believe this? I've been pushing this all my life. I mean, I want to show, respect to the elder. But I definitely, if I had to put money on it, put my house on it, he took the bag. You don't do a 180 on like that.
Think Moe Factz.
Yes.
You just said something really controversial. You're basically alluding to the fact that our illustrious and beloved Dr. Claude Anderson, author of Powernomics, has sold out to the white man. Is that what you're saying?
I still believe he believes what he wrote in that book.
Okay.
But I think he did a Jedi mind trick on this. I know I'm going to get killed for this, but I'm above being killed. I think to do that at this time, and you got to realize, you got, like I said, all the things in a vacuum. He hadn't been on the Breakfast Club, none, ever.
No, that was his second appearance.
In 10 months.
You said what?
In 10 months.
In 10 months what?
That's his second appearance in the period of 10 months.
Oh, okay. In the span of 10 months, that was his second appearance.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Right after Ice Cube comes with the Republican plan. If I said we can't look at narrative, and this is what I do on the show, you can't look at narrative in a bubble or in a vacuum. What domino hit the next domino hit the next domino. I'm sure Charlemagne was like, hey, bro, they went with a rapper over your plan. Go talk to my man, blah, blah, blah. We gonna get you your rail system. And like I said, I'm not saying that he just sold out. I don't want to use that terminology.
Right.
But I think he was like, you know what? Maybe I can leave a legacy behind.
He said, Dr. Claude Anderson, correct me if I'm wrong, but he said that the Democrats have been pretty much non-responsive, but the Republicans have been responsive.
He said the Republicans were more responsive to him. That's why.
That's what I said.
Okay, yeah. He laments on and on about how the Republicans are more responsive to him, but then you say, oh, Donald Trump packing the court. It was like all the verbiage was off. I'm like, bro, you understand how the government works.
Yeah.
Now you want to pack the courts? I mean, you would never win reparations if that's the way. Because all they're going to do is keep upping the number of judges as anti-reparations.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I say it doesn't logically to make any sense, but that's just my opinion.
Right.
But when I saw that this morning, I'm gonna tell you like this, like I said, as the recipient of the narrative.
Yeah.
My heart was heavy this morning.
Yeah.
My heart was heavy when somebody hit me with that, and I was like, nah. Let me go listen to it. And now I was like, then I got to 2020, time stamp 2020.
7:06 a.m. is when I received the text from Moe Factz with the link to the Dr. Claude Anderson. My response was, yep, I thought this was the old interview. And then he said, Dr. Claude Anderson is pushing voting now. I was like, oh, this is new? And that's when I checked out the video of his interview with The Breakfast Club, to which you pointed out some points, some timestamps of when to watch. I couldn't watch the whole thing. I just not that interested in that conversation. I feel like there's not any fruit for me. Maybe other people there's some fruit there, but it's not fruit for my brain. But it seemed like it was heavy on your heart.
It was. Because to say in this country, I'm not gonna vote. And let me explain my view on not voting. Okay. I know people are like, oh, I used to be lazy. No. There's a method to all my madness.
Right.
One, to pivot like that this late in the game, after the Ice Cube situation.
Yep.
I can't unsee what I seen. I kind of felt like Malcolm with Elijah. I'm just gonna leave it at that. You can't unsee what you seen. I'm like, God, no. And I'm like, nah, let me go through this again. Let me rewind it. And then when I got to 2020, I'm like, oh, he just came out and said it. Because you could tell he really didn't want to say it. But I think Angela Yee pressed him.
Yeah.
And then he had to come out and say it. And I was like, wow, all the work you built up. And that doesn't take anything away from it because he dedicated his life to this. I'm not taking anything away from that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that's a very dangerous thing to do because what we've done in this country is to make people realize that, you know what? Voting for somebody that doesn't represent your interest is a fool's errand and we need to stop. And I feel like he threw a huge wet blanket on that. Okay. with that one statement, because he was one of the elders we pointed to and said, see, he's done the work and he's saying don't vote. So now the retort to us is, oh, well, even Carl Anderson says Trump is the one we need to vote against. You feel what I'm saying? That's very, very, very dangerous. Because and let me explain my point about not voting. And you stop me if I'm talking too much.
No.
My point about not voting is very strategic. At the end of the 2016 election, the first thing they said was, and this is how one of the clips I started off the show with Adam with, they said Black voter turnout is down. I think it was like down from like 59% from 2012 to 53%.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So my mind's clicking like, hold on. This is the metric they're watching. If you can get it down to under 50%, that lets both the parties know we're in play. The Black vote's in play. And this is how the Kennedys got them saying the Civil Rights Act, because then it was like 60-30 for Kennedy versus Nixon.
Mm-hmm.
So that means the Black vote was in play. That's why both parties had to, cater, even though it was a lot of lip service, but some things tangible happened in that time period.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that in this day and time, if the Republicans can say, if we can lock up the Black vote, or at least 20% of it, we'll win forever. That pressures the Dems into having to pay. As a pun off your statement.
Right. Now
they have to come to the table because they're like, we'll lose forever, even if we don't show up. So this is like a half a nod to Trump, like, look, we'll stay at home, work with us.
Right. Now, Diddy has come out, tweeted today. He said, the number one priority is to get, I'm going to read 3 tweets here, then you can jump in.
Okay.
The number one priority is to get Trump out of office. He has to go. We can't allow this man to continue to try and divide us. The people that have the most responsibility should be scared to death of this man are white people. We are on the verge of a race war. Second tweet. Things have got too serious. It would be irresponsible of me to have us hold our vote hostage. But it would also be irresponsible of me to let this moment go by and not make sure going forward we are doing what it takes to own our politics. Now, the third tweet is very interesting. He said, we need to get Biden in and hold him accountable. Trump has taken things too far. As Black people, we aren't even a topic of real discussion. We can no longer stand for doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. That's insanity. It's time we unify. First of all, he just said We can no longer stand for doing the same thing over and over.
But do the same thing over and over.
But vote for Biden.
It's this political debt, man. It's like, hey, give us the vote, and then we'll talk about it. I've never understood a transaction, even on the lowest levels. Hey, same time, even in the streets, we do a transaction. It's same time. It's like you give me the briefcase, I give you the package.
Man. Same time, man.
Same time. But now you want to come here in politics with some of the most crooked people in the world and say, hey, I'm going to trust that you're going to do the right thing. Even after he can't, now look at the timing. Clark Anderson, now Diddy. Diddy was hold the vote.
Yeah.
Who's the third hat that's going to drop?
So we got Claude Anderson came out and said we got to vote after saying we shouldn't. We had Diddy say we shouldn't vote, and now he done flipped and said we need to vote Biden. You might be onto something here, Mo. Did Diddy get a bag?
Diddy Ben got the bag with rock and vote. Let's just keep it 100. Let's just keep it a buck. And that was the dummy move. He came out there using the lingo, the tangibles, and all this. Picking all the lingo up of the movement, only to lead us right back into the Democratic voting booth. It's put up or shut up time. And like I said, and that's why people say, oh, why don't you vote third party? I need this voter turnout number to be so low. If 53 got the Republicans' attention and made them put up 500 billion, and they tell you straight out, oh, we're going after the black male vote.
Yeah.
I mean, you never heard Republicans talk like this before.
Yeah.
Because you know why? Because they're worried about the Hispanic vote. So they're like, let me shore up this black vote because I know we're brand loyal. What'd you say about Nikes and Gucci?
Mm-hmm.
We're brand loyal. They just keep it 100.
Mm-hmm.
And if they come with the 500 billion, that could have black people's attention. And that puts and for us not to have to do anything. Just pick that. We don't have to go vote Republican. We just don't have to do anything, and we can debate, we can negotiate from that position. So like, look, do you want us to really go vote on GOP? Do we really need to do that? And then we say to the Democrats, hey, don't make me sit this one out.
We got another tweet here from Diddy. He said, we can protest all we want, but to win, we have to build our own black political army. To do that, we have to be trained and organized. Our black party is doing that. And our black party is a new Twitter account that he seems to be the head of. And it's Our Black Party is the @name, ourblackparty.org. I'm going to go ahead and speculate that this is some sort of what's the most
Act Blue?
Nah, I don't want to say that's not where I was going with this, but I see what I see what you're saying. I think this is more about Diddy looking out for himself, right? Like this isn't about our black party. This is about Diddy having power and Diddy controlling things and controlling the narrative and getting people to donate to him and things that he controls. Am I? Go ahead.
Can I chime in on that one?
Yes.
I think this is Diddy hedging his bets.
Okay.
Because if it comes out and Trump wins, he's gonna get thrown right in the fire. Because like, yeah, you were the one talking all that withhold the vote. Now he has to cover his ass. I'm like, no. I came out afterwards and I said, we need to go rock the vote again.
Yeah.
Take that.
But what do you feel about having a black political party?
Unnecessary.
I agree.
Vote your interests.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. I feel like this is a very net zero lateral move, as I tweeted out earlier. It's like you're going to have your own political party in the white man's government. Oh, America's been a two-party system since forever. The only semi-successful third party they ever had was a party called the Anti-Mason Party.
I'm familiar.
And that is the only third party that I will ever get behind because it's very specific.
Who were they against? Just to say, who were they against? White supremacy.
The Anti-Mason Party?
Yep.
They were against white supremacy?
Yes. They were equating the Masonic movement with ruling elite. Controlling
I think they understood that there was a secret society that was not so secret that called themselves Freemasons. Right. And they were against that cabal. I don't know if I have in my studies, I haven't seen anything connected to whiteness or anything like that because the people of the Anti-Mason Party were Caucasian European descent. I think
what I'm saying is they understood there was a power structure that was controlling politics.
Yes.
As we have now with Silicon Valley. See,
yes.
We want to say white supremacy, and this is what is weird. I bet you when I say white supremacy, first thing people think of is Jim Bob with a straw in his mouth and a shotgun rack in the back of his truck, and and some sheets.
Uh-huh.
And that's their picture of white supremacy.
Okay.
No. White supremacy is saying, you know what, we want black people to take the vaccine first. That's why we don't know how it's going. We don't know what the results is going to be, but we need. And they say it so seductively.
Yeah.
Are we going to help the black people by pumping them full of something that we don't know is going to be the effects of it?
Yeah.
Because we care. Because we love them. So no, don't get it twisted. I know a lot of people are jarred when I say that word just because it's a loaded word. But that's exactly what the Anti-Mason Party was voting against too. It was this ruling elite that was controlling the government, not the government controlling the ruling elite.
Uh-huh.
Just my 2 cents.
No. Very valid point. It's Black Star said, black women have been brainwashed into replacing the black man by Bolshevik media. White women don't have outside factors influencing them to go work, so more white women stay home. Sir Bubba Hotep, Moe, some of the best leaders never want to be. They found themselves in that position. I'm one of them. I never wanted to be a leader, but I've accepted the role because with great power comes great responsibility. I don't know how to say your name, but $10 Super J said, Moe, isn't your idea of us operating as a school of fish just like the idea of anarchy? No leaders, but spontaneous order. You want to speak to that?
I don't understand enough about anarchy because that's another narrative. Okay. Anarchy is equated in my mind with chaos. So I mean that's just because I'm a victim of the narrative, right? Yeah. And that's the only thing I understand about it. But I'm sure it's not the case. Just like many of the other narratives. What I'm saying, and that's I'm glad you brought that up, the school of fish. What I'm saying is if everybody stays concerned with swimming and moving forward as a school of fish, then the problem will solve itself. And another reason why I use that analogy is if you're familiar with school of fish, they can mimic to a predator that they're actually a bigger predator in how they move.
Yes.
So if we all move independently, because the problem with, and you brought this up, I think I'm going to attribute this to you.
I was about to say, you moving right into my argument, Mo.
But integration is infiltration.
Yes.
So if we move like fish, you might catch one fish, but that don't stop the school.
Yes.
Yeah, you might drop the net and get 1/4 of the fish, but the school is still going to thrive, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm for the school of fish ideology, because we shouldn't have any leaders. That's the point of a culture. The culture says, you know what? That's what Finding Nemo 2, what was the little fish name that was lost? And she couldn't remember who she was. Yeah, but I mean, people that
you say we shouldn't have any leaders?
No.
Why not?
Because with leaders, you have what happens today. They get the bag and they splinter the effort.
I think that's a result of a lack of leaders, right? What happens is the powers that be, whether they be Boule or white supremacy, whatever they are, only allow one leader. Like today, you're only allowed to follow, um, uh, you know, whatever black liberal, right? And then they take guys like you and, pigeonhole you and blackball you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel as though if we had diversified leadership and many leaders, that would be a good thing. The problem is we have a lack of leaders and a lack of visibility of good leaders. And they only give us one sellout coon.
Do you think white people got leaders?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Okay, explain.
Look at Trump.
Mm-hmm. He's not a leader?
Trump does what MAGA tells him to do, not the other way around.
A leader is beholden to the people. That's part of being a leader.
Right, but that's not our idea of a leader. That's why it's very dangerous. You do the will of the people, but that's not our idea in this society of a leader. A leader dictates you put on a mask, shut up, don't come out your house, that kind of thing.
That's more of totalitarian.
But that's what people equate to a leader. They want people to tell them what to do.
I don't know if people equate that to being a leader. I think people equate that to being a dictator, maybe.
No, but listen.
A leader is somebody who takes the interests of the people and pushes it forward.
No, I agree in the purest form of the word. But what I'm saying is when people ask for leaders, what they're really asking for is somebody tell me what to do so I don't have to think for myself. I'm not saying that the person who wrote that super chat.
I think that's the negative connotation of leadership, but I don't think that wholly describes what being a leader is.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying in this, we have this, it's all about the words. It's always about the words. And then today, what they say, since Trump been in office, in the absence of leadership, in the absence of somebody telling us what to do and think for us, because Donald Trump does what his base wants him to do. And really, if you want to say he's a leader, maybe because he does the will of the people, but he could come out and say something and MAGA get on that Twitter, and he'll pivot and do a 180 by lunchtime because he knows he's beholden to them.
Yes, that's part of being a leader.
But that's not what the masses want. The masses want to tell you everything.
A leader, a leader isn't always right. A leader can be wrong sometimes, and I think sometimes Trump knows. Oh wait, maybe that's a misstep. Maybe I didn't have all the information. And thank you to my MAGA following for steering me in the right direction. I have corrected myself. Part of being a leader is knowing when you're wrong.
But not in today's terminology of leader.
For example, I am a leader in Hotep Nation. Right. And one of my confidants is a brother by the name of a so-called white man by the name of Chad Lemoyne. Mm-hmm. And he recognized me as one of the leaders of Hotep Nation. And I've had some choice words about anarchy. And he introduced me to some anti-federalist papers. He introduced me to Rothbard and some other literature. And I have since pivoted on that. A good leader listens to his people, investigates, and says, maybe I didn't look into this enough, and thank you for correcting me. So whereas I may lead Chad Lemoyne, he leads me too. He brings me information, and he's contributed to my intellectual advancement probably more than many people have, outside of my dad or somebody like that, right? So and some people would say Chad is one of the Hotep followers. I don't know, whatever. But if I don't listen to Chad, I don't evolve in my intellectual prowess.
No, I agree with you. And like I said, I don't want to get into the debate over what is a leader, because I think we both agree what a good leader is.
Uh-huh.
But when people ask for leadership in today's society, they're asking for somebody to think for me. Tell me what to do, just like with Obama. Nobody said, okay, hell, Obama.
I think it's more or less about the fact that in certain positions in society, only one person can occupy that position. You can't have 1,000 U.S. presidents. You can only have one. So when you appoint that leader, just like we elect leaders in Congress or leaders in state politics, we elect these people to push our agenda forward because the rest of us have to take care of our family or do this or that, right? So we'll support the leader, but leaders are still necessary to be in those meetings and study the issues and then make the right decisions for us, because you can't have a democracy. Democracy is basically mob rule, and it's real messy, and you can't really just vote on every single issue. You need a leader that's going to take the issue, work through the nuances, and then make a decision on behalf of the following.
I think what you're saying is, and I want to clarify what I'm saying is a leader. And what you're talking about, a representative. That's good leadership. You represent what the overall culture is of the group that you represent.
Yes.
And this is what's going to be best for the continuation of that group.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, in today's society, what people equate with leadership is daddies. They want daddies. And this is why the reason why they want daddies, because they don't have a patriarch. These things have connective tissue to each other. It's like, please just tell me everything's going to be okay. We just need a daddy. We need a daddy. And with Biden's going to be our daddy. He's going to be the good daddy. Because he's going to tell us everything's going to be okay. And, and he has the same policies, the worst policies as Trump. But it's like, oh, he's nice though. He makes me feel good. Same thing with Obama. He makes me feel, oh, do you see how beautiful that Black family is? Don't that look good? I don't care how you look. And I would prefer Obama be who he truly was and have our interests at heart, instead of appearing to be like us and didn't have our interests at heart.
But I don't look at Obama as a leader. I look at Obama as a follower.
Because you're an independent thinker and you actually process information. Yeah. But to the masses,
he's a leader. And that's what I was coming back to before, right? Where it's like we're only allowed to have one kind of leader. It's got to be this Black liberal socialist communist leader, and it's not like, okay, we got this leader and we got a HOTEP leader and we got an ADOS leader and we got an FBA leader, and it's just like, okay, now we have all these leaders. Let's have them come together as some sort of Black real Congress, and then make decisions and come together. Like, so for example, let's say I represent the HOTEPs. And you represent ADOS. You might not agree.
Whoa! I want to clarify this. Let me just do this.
I'm saying hypothetically.
Yeah, I don't want to get killed. No.
No.
On Twitter.
No. Hypothetical. Hypothetically.
No.
Hypothetically.
Yvette and Tone are the leadership of ADOS.
Correct.
I am ADOS by lineage. Let me clear that up right now.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
I'm the leader of this, say, the Factz family.
Right. So, if we have, you might not agree with me, and I might not agree with the ADOS plan. All of that is somewhat irrelevant. What's relevant is what's the end game for our people, right? Can you agree with that?
Yes. Let me explain to you how this works.
Okay.
If you're the leader of the Shark clan, I'm the leader of the Factz clan. Okay. Now we come around the fire and you got all the leaders of the different clans, right? You have to look at the health of their clans. It's like, you know what? The Shark clan is really thriving. Your input holds more weight because you've done the work.
Yes.
And you have the fruit to show it.
Yes.
If my cupboards are bare around the fire, they're like, oh, I ain't following that fool nowhere. He hasn't done the work. So that's how leadership works. When men get amongst men, we pick the best of the men to lead by their fruit that they produced already. And they say with even more strength and even with even more power, he'll even take us even further. But and like you said, in our community, it's about who has the good spit game.
Yes.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, whoever's got the right rhetoric.
Right. With no fruit. Nobody, and that's the biggest. And I'm gonna get on Obama, but it's time.
Yeah.
Nobody asked and said, "Oh, he's a community organizer. He's a community organizer in Chicago." Did
Yeah.
anybody ever go look at the communities in Chicago that he's supposed to be organizing? That should have disqualified him off the rip. We should have looked at the fruit and like, oh no, no. It's that simple. I mean, people overcomplicate things. They really shouldn't.
Yeah. You're right. Let me read some super chats real fast. Oh, where am I? Where's my stage? Mo is some of the best leaders never want to be. Okay. Mo, isn't your idea about in School of Fish? Respect. Okay. Spivey says respect. Mo always has facts. 100. I'll share the link to the channel. Yeah, please do.
Can I stop you right there?
Okay.
Spivey gave me my first donation ever, and
wow.
I want to show her respect always.
Wow.
Continue.
Yeah, I always say this when you're building a brand. Remember that first legit supporter. They are the most important because that was the first brick that laid the foundation of your sport. Shout out to Spivey. That's love. Shout out to Sketch Therapy. He's been plugging your channel. My moderators are really great. They always plug our guests. Shout out to Sketch Therapy. Shout out to Ken Thorough holding me down as the moderator. Confucia said, what about the Black Wall Street massacre? How do we get reparations for that? Moe Factz.
Who are they to lending show? Let's go back to the root.
Okay.
Go back to the root, and I'm sure you will repair those people as well.
Okay. DW Twin for saying net zero lateral move, Hotep. Thank you. Sir Bubba Hotep, he said the best leaders build people, not organization. Indeed. At Hotep Nation, that's what we focus on. I've had 2 people within the past few weeks come and say, I want to help you build Hotep Nation. But this has happened during conversations where they've asked me for mentorship with their own business and their own personal life, to which I responded and said, don't worry about Hotep Nation. Hotep Nation is automated. It's going to be built on its own. It is an inevitable empire rising that quickly. So focus on yourself. You are no good to Hotep Nation until you and yourself and your life is automated. So I agree with that. Chad Lemoyne, when you have true organic leadership, the BS leaders that are forced on us have a much harder time without the iron fist eventually come. Without the iron fist eventually comes. Thank you, Chad. Halima, she said, last one. Here's the core for generational wealth. Land, land, land. This must be in reparation. Trump's tax-free status. Stay blessed. What do you think about that? As reparations, do you agree that asking for land trumps tax-free status and monetary value?
We're not in an agricultural situation anymore. The equivalent to land now is cyberspace. And the reason why I say that is if you can build online, it's kind of like people having farms back in the day. You can produce from there.
I can tell you're not in tech because that's a very ignorant.
Why you say that?
You need land to build tech.
I understand what you're saying.
For example, Bitcoin runs off of
I get that.
Mining and servers.
I get that.
And it's massive land that they build these headquarters and things.
When we see when people say land, they're talking about land to build a house on or to farm and those kind of things.
No, she didn't. Halim is a very intelligent woman. Okay, and when she says land, she's talking about for all purposes. I don't believe she's talking about just for agricultural purposes. Although I do disagree with your minimization of the importance of agriculture.
No, I'm not saying it's not important. What I'm saying is that's the equivalent to today. It's being able to have space on cyberspace. And this is just my opinion. Because a lot of times people who are having good businesses, they don't understand the internet. They don't understand how to use the internet. They don't understand how to do a website. They don't understand how to use SEO.
Yes.
They don't understand. That's why I'm equating that to land. I'm not saying one or the other, but if I was going to start a business and you give me an acres of land, or you give me equate that to an acre on cyberspace.
if somebody came to me and said, Hotep Jesus, should I buy a website or chicken?
Mm-hmm.
I would tell them buy chicken.
And you're gonna lay eggs, and then how you gonna sell them? How you gonna advertise?
You're not. You see, that's you've come to the point where you think that we need to sell these items. It's not to sell. It's for self-sustainability, so you're not dependent on somebody else. We talk about
No,
this system of capitalism and needing money, but if everything is provided on your land, you don't need cyberspace. You don't need a website. You don't need none of that. I got my food right here. I got my woman right here. Fuck the internet. That's the dream.
I think you.
Do you know how many people? Do you know how many people in Silicon Valley get into tech just to retire on a farm?
No, I agree with you. No,
my business partner, Danny. He's a co-founder at Wazo. He says, bro, I just want to grow this company so I can get my farm and clock out of this system. He wants a farm, bro.
After he's made success at business, what I'm saying to you is a lot of our people have great ideas, but they can't give them to the masses. Why? Because they're on the 99 page on Google. They can't get any traction on social media. That's why I said cyber space.
I mean, I'm in tech, so I understand the point.
Yeah, so that's what I'm just saying.
If you gave me the option, said, Hotep Jesus, would you like land or a website? Say, give me the land.
That's a false equivalency, though.
Okay, you're right. It's hard to compare the two.
Say if you say, okay, a website on the front page of Google or land.
Land.
Even in your field, if you can get on the first page of Google.
Hotep Nations was on the first page of Google before it went down. I'm still choosing.
Wow. I think we have to disagree on that one.
And I own land.
No, I do too. I mean, I get it. What I'm just saying is that for our people.
I look at one as one being closer to freedom. I think land is.
I would agree with that. If you can monetize it.
I don't want to monetize it. For me, my family. I get my land. I'm off the grid and fuck the world. It's me, my family, and that's it. We got our chickens. We got our chickens. We got our machines that handle the land automatically. I could hire somebody to come work on my farm, a couple of servants, peasants, or whatever you want to call them, minimum wage workers. But
I think you're so in depth with tech, you don't understand what it's like being on the outside. And that's an ignorant statement, but let me explain to you what I'm saying.
Okay.
I live in rural Virginia. I have to use broadband. I have a budding podcast. There's certain ceilings I'm going to hit in promotion. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like now, okay, you give me the front page on Google. You give me internet to every kid, every ADOS kid. That kind of thing, that opens up the world to them. Instead of sticking them on a couple of acres of land, and that closes them off from the world. And the world's going to continue on. The world, now I understand what you're saying about freedom, because I actually agree with you on that standpoint. My dream was always to own a land with a fish pond and enough land where I can grow my own food and sustain and those kind of things.
Have you ever heard of Rajneesh?
No.
Rajneesh, great documentary called Wild Wild Country on Netflix. I'm not sure if it's still on there. But Rajneesh is this wealthy Indian guy who starts, some people would call it a sex cult. I don't know. I don't want to diminish his great gains. Today you can find a book called Osha. That's some of his work. But Rajneesh takes his wealth and he goes out to Oregon. He imports people from homeless people. He imports homeless people from Washington, D.C. and San Francisco and buses them into Oregon. He purchases this land in Oregon and the population of this land was probably no more than 50. And he imports people and makes them residents. So naturally, he takes over the town because he wins the election because all the people are riding with him.
Right.
On this land, they become self-sustainable. They are making their own food. They are making their own clothes. You are allowed 1 beer a day, which they brew on the land, and they had an airport. So when I think about what I would prefer, I'm looking at the example of Rajneesh. For example, Kanye. When we look at Kanye,
I was just about to go there. I'm glad you did that. Yeah.
Go ahead, go there. Go ahead. You got the floor.
No, because Kanye has both, right?
Right.
He has the appeal that's global.
Yeah.
And he has the land. Now, which one benefits him more? His global status and his ability to basically control media every time he opens his mouth, or what he can produce on his land. Because he can make all the sneakers that he wants, but if the Yeezy commercials and every time Yeezy drops ain't online and those kind of things, it's not going. And that's just where we are right now. And I think that's what really has shown how poor Black people are, so-called Black people are, because we're getting left behind because we don't understand the internet. I mean, we just don't understand it. Now, we mastered it. That's the crazy thing about it. We've taken Twitter, social media, and shown them how to do it. I'm pretty sure the first step was probably taken by a Black person. If I had to speculate, that's a jest. I'm just saying. Look at your GIFs or GIF, how you want to pronounce it.
GIF.
GIF. What percentage of those are Black people?
Of GIFs?
Yes.
A whole lot. I don't know a percentage, but it's a whole lot.
It far overrepresents what we represent in this country, right?
Yes.
At 13%.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. If we could understand how to master our own narrative, if you could build a Black Facebook and we could communicate ideas like yours freely and ideas like mine freely, I think that's far more fruitful than land. Now, I'm not poo-pooing land. I'm not saying land is not necessary. I'm just saying that in the world we live in today, where the mind control mechanism that we all carry in our pocket called a phone.
Why do you think having a Black social network is really important?
Because then we can speak freely.
Then we can speak freely. Okay.
Hotep, you know, like I know. Before you press send.
it's not about Black though. It's really, I'm afraid if I say, yo, white man bad, I could send that all day, right? If I say white supremacy, I could talk shit about white people all day. It's other conversations that Black people are not having, which are actually banned from the platform.
That's what I'm saying to you. It's not the saying. No, I'm not saying.
So it's not a race issue.
I'm saying, it is.
It's actually it's a American and global issue that people can't talk about things like vaccines or treatments for COVID. For example, we had those doctors that came out and they co-signed HCQ, right? That's not a Black issue. That is a worldwide issue. Other nations were using HCQ and America won't. But if you mention HCQ on Twitter, you face the possibility to be banned.
No, but what I'm saying to you is,
okay,
our number one problem that we deal with is the slave mind.
Okay.
I keep saying that. And if we could be honest with ourselves and say, like, if you got on Twitter and said, pull up your pants, you're gonna get canceled, or they're gonna try to cancel you.
Yes.
Like you said, you can say white man all bad all day. But if we can say, okay, nobody's looking, what are our real problems? See, we're so proud that Black pride is a very dangerous thing because they told us what to be proud of. Oh, to be able to jump, rap,
yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, make good love, You know what I'm saying? Like those things. This is what you can be good at, Negro.
Yeah.
Now, if we can sit here and say amongst ourselves, that you know what, that ain't the lick. You will have more people, because when you get black men in a room, this is a real phenomenon. The conversation gets real conservative real fast. When you can let your guard down and say, you know what, that's some BS.
But my opposition online isn't white people; it's black people.
That's my point.
Okay.
Because they're carrying out what a black person should say to you.
Right.
For the masses to see.
Yes.
But if you had them in a room with a closed door and you want to push the foolishness that they want to push, then they will be shouted down.
No, actually, the most effective way is to hand them literature and let them think on their own. That's the most effective
people
way.
ain't reading nowadays. I'm a realist.
All right. let me back up real fast.
They're the mean babies.
Because you kind of derailed what I said, right? You kind of ignored what I just said.
I heard you.
What I said is the easiest way to persuade someone is not to grab a bunch of people in the room. It's to hand them some literature and let them read it on their own. Now, whether they read or not is another separate conversation. But when you have people in groups, it's much harder to persuade them if they are against you. It's real easy to persuade groups of people, as opposed to, for example, let's say I had one individual who was anti-Trump, right? And I brought him into a room full of people who looked just like him that were pro-Trump. I could convince him to join us. Now, if I did the opposite, and there was a bunch of people that didn't agree with it, and I was that one guy, I'm not getting through to him. But if I wrote some great literature and said to the people, take this home and read it, the individuals that read it are more likely to be swayed than me talking to them, because the argument is here in the mind. This is actually a psychological fact. I study psychology as a hobby. So it's really about putting out great literature. This is why I write books. I have a new book coming out soon, going to sway a lot of minds. For example, you can tweet something, but when Michael Malice releases The New Right, you see people like, oh my God, he changed my mind about so many things. But had he said it in his speech, they're like, shut up. The problem is when you're sitting down and you're alone and you're reading this stuff, there's no societal pressure. It's just you, and you have to sit there and look at the facts. And that's really how you persuade people.
The reason why I push back against that, and on an intellectual, in an intellectual form, you're correct. But everybody's not an intellectual. Most people are not intellectual. And the way you reach them, this is why newspaper came up with headlines. This is why memes rule. This is why hashtags rule. It's all about how you catch their attention.
Yes.
And if we could have a space where we could really say hashtag pull up your pants, and then show the truth behind what that leads to. I'm just using an example. I'm not saying you said literally pull up your pants, but that's like a hot button issue. Then people will start to say, you know what, they are right. Because that's what happened. That's what happened with the whole black, the whole black right that's emerging right now. Is because they found, okay, this is a little enclave over here.
They found some facts that they didn't know about before.
True facts, but how? In what form did they find them? In tweets.
Well, no. The tweets might have been the spark, but really, what it is you have to remember, it's the aloneness, right? You say people don't read. Well, if people don't read, how are they on Twitter? That's a contradiction. People read. People just literature. Don't. You said people don't read, right?
Not literature.
Now, you can give people literature in different forms.
Okay,
Literature comes in
okay, I agree with you.
audiobooks.
I agree with you.
Literature comes in audiobooks. I can
agree with
hand
you.
you a documentary. I can give you I had a friend come over, right? And when he came here, he was so anti-Trump. I played 15 minutes of Malcolm X and he left. He was like, you know what? I'm not so anti-Trump anymore, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be literature, but you have to give them some piece of media to contemplate in their alone time. And that's how people are getting red pilled. It's in their alone time and not when they're pressured by the society or the larger group.
And I agree with you because when you said literature, I'm thinking in literal terms, literature, like a book.
Yeah, I mean, that was what I was referring to, but it doesn't have to be that medium.
But you asked me why social media would be important to us, because when those positive hashtags can thrive, when those positive memes can thrive, when we can really show the true pictures of what's going on, that's when you change people's minds.
Yeah, but I mean, I think my argument was, if we look at if let's say we had an option, do you want black land or a black social media network? I'd be like, give me some black land. Give me some ADOS land. Give me some land for ADOS. You can keep that fucking social network. That's what I'm saying. And this is from somebody. This is from somebody who knows. I wrote a book that teaches people how to use social media to manipulate popular opinion. I am an expert in persuasion in marketing and advertising. So I understand the power of social media, but I also understand its limitations too. What were you going to ask me?
And this world is unlimited. And why did all the founding fathers have newspapers, most of them? It's the same reason. You control the narrative. Yes. How did the narrative circulate about black inferiority?
So that's the argument you were talking about, where I said you need to pass people literature, right?
Right, but what I'm saying is that the equivalent to that, the newspaper today, is social media. The equivalent to the TV in the 1940s and 50s is social media. Okay. So that's all I'm saying. And then, but the problem is, the internet is infinite. As many servers you can build, you can have, cyberspace. The problem is, what portion of cyberspace do you actually control? How many black publications have cyberspace? None.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. If narrative is our biggest problem, because narrative pushes the slave mind, bro. I mean, we gotta own that we have to, and that's what on the Moe Factz show with Adam Curry, that's what we do. We hold a mirror up to the narrative. Yeah. And say, look, this is what they're saying. This is the mind trick they're playing on you. And this is how they're contradicting themselves over here. And in 3 hours, we're able to tear down. And I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back, but I have people emailing, so you have the same thing. Email and text you and say, you know what? I'm from this persuasion of politics. But the case you made in those 3 hours swayed me over.
Yeah. I think really what's going to sway people is bravery. Standing up to the mob. Go ahead.
It's funny you say that, because Mr. Curry was trying to make the same case yesterday on No Agenda. And I think everybody gets to that point of like, you know what? It's time to put up or shut up. Yeah. And I think that's what we're doing now.
Because if we look at the civil war happening between the black conservatives, it wholly has to be credited to the Hoteps. We were the ones that gave them the bravery to say, and Sonny Johnson, to say the rhetoric coming from the Candace Owens of the world is not correct. That's not the way black conservative needs to move forward. Right? But it took somebody, because these people were in the pockets of TPUSA. TPUSA was paying for their flights, their bus trips, their hotels, and bringing to these nice events. And many of them didn't have the bravery because they wanted that lifestyle. But when they saw Hotep Jesus say, I don't give a fuck about that shit. When they saw Sonny Johnson say, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I care about the black nation. Then all of a sudden, these people started coming out in droves and started rebelling. And now you have this new so-called conscious black conservative that's coming out. That comes from the bravery. When you had, before that, and many of people weren't standing up to the feminists. They weren't standing up to LGBT. They weren't standing up to Black Lives Matter. This is before Trump. We were standing up to Black Lives Matter, and we put the battery in the back and a lot of people's backs that said, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're speaking up. And we create a space. So it's the bravery that's going to create a space to say, you don't have to follow. Because the thing about brainwashing is, and the thing about narratives is, I love that you talk about narrative, is the fact that it's fear of ostracization from the group.
And you know the
that keeps people trapped.
You know the greatest tool against ostracization?
Yeah.
Family. Bro, you can't cancel me. Because I'm still a dad. I'm still a husband. I'm still a son. I'm still a brother. I'm still a cousin. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't cancel me. What you gonna do? You gonna take me off the internet? You gonna cancel my Twitter
But then people
account?
are still afraid at school.
Because they're isolated. They're isolated.
Yeah. Because the group now dictates things. You, for example, have that fear, which is why you can't show your face, which I respect. That's no shots. Let me just be clear. There's no shots.
Let me explain to you why, though. That's the only way you can affect me, because then you affect how my family looks at me because of the way I provide for them. That's the linchpin, you know what I'm saying? But other than counseling Moe Factz, bro, I don't give a rat's ass. I'm just being honest with you about because of what I say. And what I say, I speak from the heart 100%. This ain't no narrative. This ain't no, you know what I mean? No. Because I know what works.
It's the bravery. Let me just read the super chats. Acoustic theory. What is needed is effective self-leadership. I totally agree. Different from anarchy, self-leadership leads a group to pursue a common goal from recognizing its value. Love that. Acoustic theory also said the worst thing a leader can do is try to undermine the self-leadership of the individual. Yes, a lot of leaders. I think that's the difference between a leader and a gatekeeper. A leader wants you to be self-sustainable, wants you to be autonomous, whereas these gatekeepers want you to be dependent. He said, teamwork begins with the commitment of the individual. Big Elvis to Chef Rosenberg, $50 super chat. Thank you, man. You are Big Elvis. He said, I'd like to share this on all platforms, including my YouTube channels, community page, hand down the best, squeezing the juice I've heard in years. Thank you. Thank you, Big Elvis. Share. Sir Bubba Hotep, good leaders, Mo. I'm going to send you The Kingdom of God is Within You by Leo Tolstoy. His brand of anarchy will resonate with you. Craig Gilbo Jr. said, 5% of people think, 10% of people think they think, and 85% of people will die before they think. I agree, Mo. That's totally on point. Halima, why does Mo want to start a business in real estate? Yeah, she got you there. I think you do understand the power of land. Sir Bubba Hotep, what are both of your opinions on Fela Kuti? First, let me Google. I recognize the name. I don't remember.
While you do that, can I say something?
Yeah.
While you do that, one, the real estate thing. Of course, you gotta have some real estate in your profile. And I'm not saying I'm anti-land, anti-real estate. I'm just saying in the world that we live in, controlling the narrative is the most powerful thing to unlocking the slave mind. And that's why you see Twitter and Facebook put everything on the line to keep certain stories off their platform. Because they understand if we let this on our platform, there goes the election, period.
Yes.
So that's what I'm just saying, because my goal.
You know what's funny about that?
Yeah.
When you say create your own social network and why I think it's fruitless. A white man, a European, Caucasian, by the name of Andrew Torba, created a social network because of the censorship. It's called Gab.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a place for conservatives to have a so-called safe space.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what the establishment did? The establishment banned him from all the platforms. They banned his app from the Apple Store, Google Play Store, Stripe, PayPal, right? You name it. They had the power to ban his social network. In fact, the server that his social network lived on removed him. He had to go to I forget who he went to, but for some way, somehow, he was able to move it to some independent server. So when you talk about social networks, I'm like, how do you control your social network when they can just cut your ass off anytime? Second point I'm going to make is, let's say you create your social network. You know what else they did to Andrew Torba? They created 2 competing social networks. Mm-hmm. One of them called Parler, which is an establishment mind control platform to monitor white conservatives and to create groupthink out of white conservatives and the conservative movement. And then they created another one called Locals. So he created this network as an independent man that was funded by the people. He raised over $1 million. Funded by the people. Mastodon, thank you. Funded by the people. And the establishment, being so strong, not only removed him from the app stores, removed all the payment gateways, removed him from being able to host his information on that server, then created competing networks. You know what people can't do? Come take your land. That's what they can't.
You want to bet? Ask black people in the South.
You got to kill you though, right?
No, they don't have to kill you. It's called eminent domain.
That is true. That is true. That is true. That is true. They can declare eminent domain. They did it to a farmer out here in New Jersey. The farmer had the spot.
They did it to my friend's family.
Yes.
I'm not talking in a bubble. Let me be clear. I didn't say we needed only a social network. I said we need cyberspace that would include servers. I feel
like that's the lowest of priority.
I don't. But I see what that's
the greatest of priorities,
right,
is the accumulation of financial resources and intellectual power.
You don't think that would be on that black social network?
No, social networks. So, you're talking to somebody. You're talking to somebody who understands social networks better than anybody, and you guys are overvaluing the power of social networks.
No. What I'm saying is that social network will be the outlet of your Kanye's, your LeBron James, and your all the other athletes and celebrities.
And you know the difference between losing. You know the difference between losing your land to eminent domain and losing your servers is when you lose your land to eminent domain. At least they compensate you.
At their estimation.
But at least you get some compensation.
True.
When they ban you from the internet, you get zero compensation.
I think I heard you bring this up before, and you were talking about how when YouTube flipped the script on algorithms, right?
Yes.
That silenced a lot of people, or either made them adjust their message, right?
Yeah.
If you could let whatever the momentum was, and this was really back in 2014, 2015, when the counter narrative was burgeoning. And your suggestion was lit. You know, I mean, you would get a Hotep Jesus and a Chronicles of Judah, and I mean, all these different people that would push positive narrative.
Yeah.
And they said no.
Mm-hmm.
That lets you know what's important to them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever is important to them needs to be important to us.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't saying, nigga, you can't buy no land. Excuse me. But they ain't saying you can't buy no land.
Right.
You got the money, you can buy land, but they said, oh no, on this platform, shut them down.
Yes. With a tap of a button.
So that lets you know where their weak spot is.
That's interesting. They are very fearful. They are very fearful of our ability to manipulate the platforms, which is why I say, you know, it's like abandoning Twitter to go to your own platform is exactly what they want. That's what they want you to do. They want you to
Exactly.
leave. Yeah.
Yes.
Because then they can control the narrative for the masses. The truth is, HOTEPs know how to use the enemy's platform and red pill people using coded language. That's more powerful than trying to letting them run you off so you can stay in this little bubble where nobody even hears of you.
And that takes what? Intelligence.
Yes.
To say, how do I navigate these waters?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna give you the alley. You gotta cook at home.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta do your own homework. I'm just gonna lay this out here for you.
Okay.
It's like breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
I can't give you the whole loaf here. Here, follow these breadcrumbs. It'll get you where you need to go.
Mm.
But the fact when they start shutting these names down,
mm-hmm.
that lets you know then, oh, this is your weak spot.
Mm.
Oh, when Kanye starts to talk and you call him crazy, oh, that's your weak spot.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying about narrative. If we can control the narrative, and you know where we go when we lit. Hotep, you know that.
Yes.
Wherever we go, and that goes back, we bring this conversation full circle when you talk about Nike. Nike is nothing without a Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Let's just keep it honest here.
Oh.
It's something about the American Western Hemisphere Negro that's so appealing to the world. Mm-hmm. Whatever we say, it ventures. I mean, I don't understand it. I don't understand it fully. And Obama tapped into that power. And that's why he's useless now once he was figured out not to be one of us. Mm-hmm. It was like somebody let the air out of a balloon.
Yeah.
With the quickness. It's something about us. It's like, wow, they made it through. They made it through the struggle, Yeah. And then, it's the struggle. That's what we all talk about, the struggle. When you saying when you made it from the bottom, that's what Drake said. Now, Drake ain't never seen the bottom. But what he had to do, what all rappers had to do, identify with the bottom. And who's the bottom? Us.
Yeah.
They say it, and they say it right in their songs.
Mm. You speak of this Black social network, right? And you speak of this ADOS and earlier in this thing, I said I'm a Black supremacist, right? I said I believe in Black supremacy, which was partly a joke. But you know what I think is the big power move for Black people? The big power move for Black people is holding hands with white people, working with white people, so-called white people. Mm-hmm. That is the power move, because the enemy is not white supremacy. The enemy is the state. Agree, disagree?
They're not the same?
I don't believe they're synonymous.
No, because see that we got to go back and look at what white supremacy is again. We're not talking about race. We're talking about power. Who holds all the power? The state.
It ain't white people.
You don't think so?
No, it's not. So-called white people, they ain't. No.
Who owns the politicians? Wall Street.
Yeah, Wall Street ain't white people.
You don't think so?
It's not.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying, but I don't see a distinction. I don't see a distinction there. That's
white people, so-called white people were the first slaves on this land.
I know this.
Under a monetary system, under the state, under that thing they call the Constitution. Right,
but then they were elevated over Black to be the mudseals.
To divide. That was the divide and conquer tactic.
Exactly. So if we can make atonement, I told you.
The atonement isn't with white people, though. It's with those large corporations who were not created by so-called white people.
But if you make the atonement, then there's no rift between.
The atonement isn't from white people, though.
No, listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you make atonement, then there's not a rift between a white man and a Black man on the same social economic status.
Who's got to make the atonement?
The government.
But the government ain't white people.
I see what you're saying there, but that's like saying
we live in a corporatocracy.
I know this.
Okay.
That's why I said we don't live in a corporate.
The United States government. Who? I'm not even gonna say who. I'm not even gonna form this question. The United States government is owned by the 12th bank.
Right.
I don't want to say it here because of keywords. It's
I
owned by the
understand that.
12 banks.
But this distinction you're making is
So
like
our
saying
government,
ADOS is
our government ain't free. So if our
Mm.
government ain't free, our money ain't free, how can you seek freedom through a system that ain't free?
That's your only two choices. You only got two choices.
If the government ain't free, how can you find freedom from the government?
If the government ain't free, how can you see freedom for the government?
The government can't grant freedom if it can't grant itself freedom.
Right, but you just said what freedom was. Now, how do you say living in your own space?
Autonomy.
Freedom. Right, autonomy, right?
Yeah, off the grid.
So
I don't need your system. I don't need your fiat money. I got my chickens. I got my corn. I'm good. Fuck y'all.
But don't that just put us back where we came from before the early 1900s?
What is wrong with that?
Nothing.
Okay.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Right.
I told you I live in rural Virginia.
Yeah.
I go outside. I don't watch television.
Yeah,
I watch the trees and the bugs.
Some people think because we have Wi-Fi and computers that somehow civilization has evolved. But no, these things were an example of de-evolution. This is a backwards move. You see, when people have to die to get an iPhone, when people have to die and be beaten and be enslaved for a pair of sneakers, that is not civilized. That is not civilization. If you got to go and enslave little black kids to go pull coltan out of a mine to build your chip, that's not civilization.
You have no argument out of me, sir. You have no argument out of me. And
so when they say the people on this land who just lived off of the land were uncivilized and were savage, that makes no sense. I feel like that is civilized. I'll give up all this internet shit right now to go back to before all of this shit if it means that people don't have to suffer for an iPhone or whatever.
Can I make this one point?
Yes.
When you go to third world countries, right?
Uh-huh.
When they don't have Wi-Fi, television, all these things.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the tribes is, pushed back into the bush.
Yeah.
What are they always doing when you see them?
Smiling.
Exactly.
They happy. They don't have no mental health issues, no anxiety. Every day's a good day. That's civilized.
You know why? They're spending time all their day with their son.
Right.
Passing down.
Mm-hmm. Living off of
what it takes for him to survive.
What are they living off of?
Off the land.
Boom. That's all you need, bro. God gave us everything.
Bro, but if you put these indoctrinated people straight on land, Hotep, like I know. They're still gonna be banging. That's why I said we had to do these things in steps. First of all, we got to break them out of this spell.
Yeah.
And to do that, we had to fight fire with fire, and the fire they're fighting with, I keep forgetting the name of the Netflix special they had on social media. The Social Dilemma, excuse me.
Okay. Yes.
If we can counteract that, because where do you think all these behaviors come from? Chief Keef, he birthed a whole generation of Chiracians that ain't even from Chicago. OnlyFans is the stroll now. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
This is what contributed to the degradation and the subjugation of our people.
Yeah.
So we had to create a space in the place that they live. They don't live on land. They live in a 200-300 foot square apartment on a block that ain't seen vegetation since it was in the early 1900s. They live in that bubble.
Yes.
So we got to reach them there.
Mm-hmm.
We got to reach. And I know this for instance. When my cousins used to come out, see, and I have a perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I've always lived in the South. I've never lived in a city.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a small country city. I mean, I grew up in Durham. I lived in Durham for the majority of my life, which is, a small country city.
Mm-hmm.
I call it that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand urban problems.
Okay.
When my family used to come down, they're like, "Oh, it's too slow. I
Yeah.
got to get back. Got to get popping.
Yeah.
It's like, bro. So we got to reach those kids there, and really, that's what we need to really be going after the kids, and we got to
Correct.
show them
Yes.
how to master the narrative and understand you don't have to be. Like I said, I'm not preaching from the pulpit of, oh, I know all this. I went through that. I had the slave mind. I had, if you stepped on my shoes, it's gonna be a problem.
Me too.
You ruined my whole week.
Me too.
So what I'm saying is, a lot of time when people become intellectuals, and that's what Malcolm used to say. He said all these civil rights leaders don't speak the language. In his autobiography, he said, one of the guys came up to him, "Hey, Daddy, you see all the job, like spit job talk to him." He knew exactly what he was saying. Civil rights leaders had no clue what he was talking about. So we can't get above and like, oh, we're this better than them. How you living like that? No, bro, you have to empathize. And one of the things I hate the most is this Pookie and Ray Ray, these narratives that Black people push, not white people, Black people, or the gender war or the generational war, boomers against millennials in the Black community, or the Black man against the Black woman. These are all narratives created by the system of white supremacy to keep us divided. It's how the devil do. The devil said, "I gotta top the strong man before I can plunder the house." They keep us so occupied with our children and our women that we don't even have no time to sit down and deal with each other like this on a frequent basis.
I think if we look behind the curtain, we wouldn't find so-called white people. We'd probably find some alien race pulling the strings behind the society. Chad Lemoyne, $4.99 super chat. He said, social networks 80% jokes and people flexing personal business and arguing, no hope of conversion. The deep conversations of value are minimal. Chad Lemoyne, he said, if you get money from the U.S. government, they'll just devalue it and bring you right back where you are. That's why land, metals, and tax exempt is the way. I totally get it. I totally agree. Like, I don't want no money in reparation. Don't give me that shit.
But I don't hear nobody turn down that Trump check when it comes for the stimulus.
You say you don't hear nobody turn that down?
Yeah, I ain't heard nobody say, you know what, I'm sending this back to the government. I don't want none of your fiat currency.
Nah, we ain't turning down free money. You'd be stupid. That's stupid.
So why would I be stupid? Do I have a legal claim against?
I think that's the difference between being a group and being an individual, right? As an individual, you're like, I ain't turning this money away. But as a group, if you say, hey, we are accepting this money, then the powers that be can say, oh, we just handed out a bag, devalue currency. And then you're going to be back at square one. See, an individual, that little punk ass $1,200, that ain't shit. That ain't shit. It was $1,200 to that shit wasn't shit. And I spoke to somebody the other night on my channel, owns a club in Las Vegas, and he said things dried up right after that stimulus money dried up. So we know where that money went, right? Went right back to Gucci as a euphemism for a foolish spending.
It went to make it rain. Let's follow the lineage of the money. It went to make it rain. Right. She went and got a Gucci purse.
Right. Yeah. So that's why it's just that is not what we should be asking. We need.
Why would you?
I need my 48.
Let me ask this question though. Why wouldn't you ask for something that you're owed though?
Because you cannot put a dollar value on what we've went through in this country. That's a diss to our ancestors.
Nobody ever said that to any other group ever.
Nobody said that to any other group ever?
Ever.
All right. Let's walk through that. Let's walk through that. You know what some of these other groups got?
What?
White folks got the Homestead Act.
Uh-huh.
Nobody said that was a bad idea, did they?
No.
Oh.
So I think your issue is receiving fiat currency. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
The payment.
Yes.
I have no argument on what the payment is. I'm just saying it's due.
I think that's a
cash credit card. Look, cash credit card. Whatever you want to pay it.
But you can't put. Put it like this. If we put a dollar value on it, it would have to be a lifetime stipend. You couldn't say, hey, here's the dollar amount we're going to give you, and that's it. Because you can't come back for more. That's the problem with reparations. They're going to cut your ass a check, and you ain't going to be able to come back for more. If you put a dollar amount, if you put a dollar amount on reparations, it has to be perpetual. Like okay, I'm going to show you how you contradicted yourself, because you brought up other people who have problems. Other people who were wronged by this nation receive reparations in perpetuity, not only in Germany, but in America. Every year they get sent money. So how is it black people asking for one lump sum payment and other cultures are smart enough to get some every year?
Because
we dumb enough to take a one-time payment. But other cultures is getting it in perpetuity.
Hold on, but what I'm saying to you is our problem is not their problem. Our problem is getting over the slave mind.
I thought we was talking about reparations.
We are.
Monetary value.
That's the whole point.
And you said if we get the bag and we can't come back for more, you said good.
Right. You know why? Because you know what? You got the bag, and when you fumble the bag, nobody feels sorry for somebody that fumbles the bag. What this is symbolic. It's symbolic. You said it yourself. It's symbolic in the terms of we're closing the chapter of the slave mind. Now let's move forward. The difference between us and the other people I think you're talking about is they didn't have the slave mind ever. They always kept a strong culture. That's the difference. We have to put a period on the slave mind.
But you're talking about intellectual, philosophical thing. I'm talking about the bag.
Right.
The bag cannot be a one-time payment. It has to be perpetual, just like the other group that you named. You said other groups got reparations, but their bag comes every year. We need ours perpetual too. You cannot put a finite amount on struggle. You cannot put a finite amount on oppression. You cannot put a finite amount on being treated inhumane.
But Hotep, we're arguing for two different points of view.
We might be.
Not me and you. I'm talking about the two groups.
Why?
Because they're paying themselves. That's why. They're paying themselves. That's why it can be perpetual. We got to negotiate the best deal we can get so we can move forward. All I'm trying to do is put a nice bow on this thing so our people can say, you know what, let's get over that hurdle and let's build now.
I disagree.
You just said they run the banks. So they paying themselves. They just keep it 100.
No, we're paying them.
Well, that's you.
The American people are fitting that bill. They are pulling the money out of thin air and handing us the bill.
That's what we've seen the last 6 months. You got 500 billion for black people, but then you just pull 2 trillion out your rear. I mean, that just lets you know. But what I'm saying is this. Okay, we can do it, one of a few different ways. We can do it, piecemeal. We can do lump sum, or you trying to do perpetual, which I just don't think perpetual is feasible. I'm not saying that's not the right thing to do. I don't think that's feasible. So what we had to do is in the court of law, they say, okay, what was the damages? Okay, this is the damages. Let's pay it out. Maybe they had to pay it out. Now you're saying they do when they do the payments every year.
Every year.
Yeah.
Every year the money gets sent to their homeland.
Right.
Germany just coughed up another check.
Right, but look at the narrative they have. They got the killerest narrative in the world. Their narrative is cold. They're just keeping 100 here. Their narrative is so cold we can't even. Their narrative is so cold we can't even say who we talking about. That's how cold their narrative is. So just keep it 100. We gotta cross.
I think that has more to do with the fact that they own this platform that we're speaking. Literally, they created it.
And what did I say?
They are the CEO of it. They are the founder of it.
And what did you say? What did I say we need to have?
Our own social network.
Okay.
Great
That's
point.
all I'm saying.
Great point. Great point. Great
We
point.
both make great
But
points.
I don't need a social network to talk about other people. Right? Like that's just not what we need to do. Right? Like we could talk about some other shit. We could talk about building. We could, you know what I mean? We should.
No.
These conversations could happen about talking about entrepreneurship like I do every Saturday. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying that, we're going to crap on. What I'm saying is the freedom to express ourselves.
Yeah.
In comparative form to say, X got this, Y needs to get this.
Right.
Because they went through, it's an equal sign between the two of them.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right. I get it. Yeah. Where we at? Sir Bubba Hotep. Nah, you good. My grandfather also said, buddy, buy land because they aren't going to make more of it. Real talk. Dimas Aja, land, a 3D printer to build home. That is true. You can do that. Open field schools and grow my non-GMO tomatoes. Word. That's another thing. GMOs, man. That's why we need land. Be sure to avoid swamps, flood zones, etc. Amancio Ortega from Indie Text. McDonald's land, billionaire situation. Dimas Aja, New York Treaty of 1516. First American treaty to divide Indians from blacks and turn blacks to workers. Indians got land. Word. Indians got land. They did get that land. They got our land, in fact. Because you agree that we was the natives, right?
A portion of us.
My man.
A portion of us.
My man.
But the problem is, when you go look at the land they own now, the same narrative troubles them.
How? What do you mean?
Alcoholism, disease. Bro.
Because of a lack of culture.
That and then isolation. They know how to freeze you out too. Let's keep it 100. They know how to freeze you out, and if they ain't having a casino, they'd be really bad off. I'm just keeping it 100 here. So I mean, it is what it is.
Right. Mo, great conversation tonight, man.
Man, I appreciate it. Y'all, I haven't, you challenged me on some things. I got to go back and really actually think about some things.
Me too. I'm glad we had this conversation. Some people complaining and said, "Hotep Jesus, you're not interviewing him.
You are.
Thank you for saying that. But I felt it was more important to have discourse, right? This back and forth to really understand the mind of Moe Factz. And that's really what this platform is about, is understanding the mind of my guest. And that's why people enjoy this platform, because I'm going to reveal to you exactly who these people are when they come on my platform. And I think tonight, people got a better understanding of Moe Factz, what he believes in, and why he believes in. And for coming on my channel, I got to say thank you. Best wishes and best of luck to everything you do in your future. Is there anything or any message that you want to leave with the people before you go, or maybe you want to drop shout outs or a message, whatever it is, take that time to do so.
All right. First of all, I want to give a shout out to the first person that gave me a shot, and that's Star from Star Report. If it wasn't for him, it wouldn't be a Moe Factz, because he gave me my first chance to voice my opinion and my narrative and my perspective. Two, Mr. Adam Curry, because I didn't know that man from a can of paint. I'm serious. And he answered my email. And from there, that's what we built, what we have now. Three, just my family, my wife. She holds me down 100%. And finally, I would like to say this. When you hear me speak, remember Joe the plumber?
What's that from?
The guy that had from the campaign years ago.
No.
He's like Joe America, right?
Okay.
I look at myself as like Black Joe America.
Okay.
I don't represent any specific group or any specific narrative. I am a working Black man, and I want to give those like me in the silent majority a voice. That's why I'm not big on celebrity. I digest the narrative that they put out, and I tell you how it hits. And as I always say, pay attention to everything, and the truth will reveal itself. And you can find me at mofactz.com. And I appreciate you, Hotep, for stimulating conversation and sharing your platform.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often that I get to discourse with someone I disagree with, right? The majority of the guests that come on a platform is just like, I agree with everything you about to say. I'm just going to set you up for the home run. You know what I mean? And I feel as though if you're not speaking to people you disagree with, how do you expand your mind, right? And my mind has experienced expansion tonight thanks to this discourse. I would love to have you back on again. So you will come back on the platform in the future, and we'll have some more discourse, and you'll be more involved than I'll be more involved in, and we can give people more of us. I think you're an important voice in the Black community. I think you're an important voice for ADOS, and I wish you the best of luck, man.
I appreciate it, sir. You have a good night and be blessed.
Oh yeah, if you need anything from the HOTEPs or Hotep Jesus, you let me know. I'm here for my people.
I like your entrepreneurial spirit, so we might be talking about that as well.
Hit me up, man. That's my main thing. That's what I really, really do. So if you need any advice or you want to just pick my brain, you got my number.
All right, same here. And if you ever need me, you're saying to do anything, my schedule will always be clear for you, sir.
My G. Bless up.
Peace.
Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the illustrious, incomparable ADOS representative, Moe Factz. Make sure y'all give him a follow, MoeFactz. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got a podcast with Adam Curry. Make sure y'all get in tune. All these voices are important. I would never want to tell people, oh, you should only listen to me. You should only listen to me. I would never want that. I think the best thing for people is to get all types of perspectives. That's how I became the man I am, because I listened to all types of perspectives. I listened to the Hebrew Israelites, the Moors, you name it. I listened to everybody, and I picked a little bit from each group. I listened to the conservatives. I listened to the socialists. I listened to the communists, progressives, all of them. Now I listen to everybody, and I take what I like, and I leave the rest. So I think he offers a lot. He's got a lot of knowledge. He's very historically adept, and I think you guys should plug in and listen to his podcast. I think it's another good source of information. Hit subscribe before you leave. Hit the subscribe button before you leave. I'm going to go ahead and tell you my schedule. I do this every show. Where is it now? Okay. We have Cooley Bravo. Cooley Bravo is a gang member from Chicago. So we're going to be talking about gang violence. That's next Friday. This schedule could fill up any day now. I might plug in somebody in Monday, Tuesday. On the 30th, I got Kaba Kamene coming on. We're going to talk solar energy. He's got a presentation that's going to be great. And I got Liza Blue coming in. She's going to be talking child exploitation, child sexual exploitation, and human trafficking. That's going to be November 6th. This is Sharp Conversations with Hotep Jesus. And you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and get plugged in with us there. Make sure you subscribe on your favorite platform, not only here, but Apple and Spotify. And if you can, leave a review. Leave a positive review. Write a nice review. And I'd appreciate that. But that's all for tonight. God bless. Hotep. I love y'all.